pull that one back.
Okay.
And
They didn't get it to work.
that ain't working.
I wonder if they got it plugged into the round on the other end.
Well, they did hardwired the other day. I
I
watched.
wonder was some,
Yeah, they ran the line.
they gotta go all the way back over there.
They did that.
I wonder if they plugged it in.
I imagine they did. I would hope they did. I mean, but I'm good. I'm on my backup, so I'm good. We can, because I ran into that issue over there at the police jury. Their problem was they put it in the wrong place. That's how my line wasn't wrong. But they fixed it up this week, so we're all good over there. But it's good. Glad we caught into you next over here for your mics. We always ask them, hey, leave the mics on so we can hear. Yeah. Are those new mics or that's, because I saw a box over here and I said, well, did you guys buy new mics?
I don't know, they didn't tell me if they bought some new ones or not. It's possible.
I think it's just a matter of getting over here and tweaking that mixer and making sure that that's audible. I mean, he just talked on it. It's fine. So, but they'll pick it up as long as it's mic. The mic's on. It'll pick it up.
Just a bit, I mean, it's an even voice is low.
Let's put her high. Let's find out which mic that is, and we can actually
Should
adjust
probably
it.
be in the middle.
Yeah, but what I can do is take that mic in there and I'll test it and see which pot it's on, and we can bring it up. Because if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right, she's gonna be in the middle. She usually sits in the middle.
Yeah, they
That probably know where it
probably,
signs at.
they probably relocated where.
Yeah, you're music.
I don't hear that.
Yeah, you're music.
They're better ears than me.
Now stand right here, you can hear it. That's no mouth look.
I can't hear that.
I hear something of that.
When I was younger, maybe.
So let me take her. Yeah.
Look at her other one, Todd.
What's that?
Look at her other one. She usually sits in the middle.
Oh, she sits over here? Why is
Yeah,
that?
probably reposition themselves.
Why'd she do that? Come on. So we have to flip the. Really?
Yeah.
You fight? So I can show you this if you still want to find out which mic. They have a frequency on here. Turn it on. That's the frequency right there. 52, 523. So it's going here. Two, two, two. Bring it up a little more. Test 2, 2, 2. Test 2, 2, 2. So she'll be the highest one. Test 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 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 two. Oh. Test 2. Test 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. So we were doing the meeting last night. 2, 2. At the police jury. One jury member was turning the mic off. And you gotta keep it on. I said, if you need to, talk like that, just cut it. So yeah, something like that. But it turned off, and my concern was, hey, you're not gonna turn it back on. And I'm all, if you need to have a side conversation, that's okay. But you turn the mic back on, they weren't gonna turn that mic back on.
I can about imagine it and tell you who it is.
Yeah. Yeah, always to the left.
The new one.
He deals with money.
Yeah,
Not much. Well, Anthony, all over. It started on, Andrew Street. Then we did.
Okay, so we are set.
Then all this start taking some notes.
Last thing we'll do is just clean up our stuff.
Yeah.
And pull my-
Okay. Do you have some tape?
I do.
Another final call. Got it all in.
Hey, you want to know all that report I have?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Hey, just to check, how many group bags did you get this morning? 10. Okay, I'll make sure to say the new law, you're allowed 11.
Okay, well, I do that, so that's why I said 10. Yeah, you need 3 onions with it. Yeah.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy, shut up, you know. I was looking for the wardrobe. Hey, anybody got a pocket knife?
Nope. More on that in a second.
No, I got some outstanders on that.
Yeah.
Hey, John, how's it going?
What's up?
What, you bored? I'm a little bored. I'm a little bored. You little bored?
It's travel. They told me to bring it to the meeting. The chair. When we went to LMA.
How's it going? Jerry?
Yes.
Probably do.
The state came up with the date of collect. They collect the fees of the tickets, free tickets. Yeah.
I think a realty.
That's the cooperative endeavor agreement with the school board, that Jonathan wanted to do, but I think it's already on the agenda. Yes. Better wait till Jonathan.
What's up?
No, that's not on the
You got your body covered then?
There you go.
I think I got that out on the agenda.
Yeah.
And then after I had that stuff for children and the banks, I got some of the stuff today. I didn't know what happened for the meeting.
I was gonna put this board.
I got Red River, Capital didn't send that in. And First Avenue.
What's up?
And.
Daughter got taken care of? Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Craig.
Just having a mark.
We'll go over it. Report all right? Good.
Showing your debrief?
He's with the English church.
That should be
Yeah,
good.
for a minute now.
Okay, so,
We have a couple of few things to add.
Wait.
So what you want to do before the meeting? I don't want to put the camera on anybody, so see up here, just put it up on the,
Right,
and then I'll.
That's what me and Chief were talking about.
Huh?
It's out to each station. Now it's live.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so let's sit down and start taking.
The first one, let's see, the change order number 3 is for both. That's for some additional stuff. Project. And the next one is for change order number 2, Parkland Development for the Zeno to Sale Water. They have a change order.
It's nice and so we're good there.
Marcus can tell you about that. He's the one that had me put him on that. He's asking about the change orders.
You gonna go ahead and address that? This is here, 7 and 8? Okay, that'll be fine.
So for down charges, we replaced a little piece of walking trail at Edgewood Coco.
Yeah, the walking
Said
track.
just messed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, go back, and then we did a little bit more drainage work at the takes point. Right against the track. $2,000, but his price was a little over, I cut it down, that way it's even $400,000, that it costs the city.
Okay. So it didn't cost anything. Good.
Yeah. On Friday, test it out. It's all good. Just a couple of things.
Years, Cypress SD.
That's it.
Where?
Borough Street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Marcus, one minute.
So each window.
Can I show you something on here that will make this a little bit easier when we get into it? This is a lot of numbers, but this shows the current costs, the total monthly premium, the renewal total monthly premium, renewal, this is the current renewal. This is what you're currently paying for either one of the plans. This would be what you would pay if the employee kept the same
Hey, look,
contribution.
wait.
So it would be an increase to the city.
What's going on?
On a monthly basis of
Don't play the competitive.
159 plus 400, so roughly
It could be worse.
570. Follow me?
570 for the whole thing?
An increase.
For the whole,
For all of the people that are enrolled, if you left the employees have what they're currently paying. This is what the employees currently pay each month. We're really only worried about the people.
Correct.
But we'll show off with you. They're paying $60 a month for this plan 6 and $76 a month for plan 7, which is an upgrade. With the increase, if you left them at the $60 per month and 70, we'll base it off of a percentage. So you would be increasing from $116 per person to $139, and that would cost you 160 plus 410, that's $570 increase to the city to leave the employees at the a month. Then I showed right here, if you left your 116 the same, what their cost would go, they would go from $60 to 83, or from 76 to 101. And so this is you accepting the increase, this is them accepting the increase. This is if we change the plans to leave the cost the same as they got.
okay, so 500 included, $70 a month.
That's correct. You only have 25 people. You have 2 plans to choose from. You have a basic and a little bit of an enhancement. Basically, this enhancement gives them extra dollars towards certain medical services and additional prescription drugs. This is the cost. This is what you pay of this cost. So $116.38 is what you pay towards this cost. It doesn't matter whether they cover spouse, children, or families. You're just giving them $116. Right? Correct. This is what they're paying. If they take $60 or $76, that's broken up into different, into the payroll frequency. But this is the monthly amount. This is the renewal. It went up 12%. 13 on this one. You would have to increase your 116 to this 139, their monthly cost is the same as 1698. If you do so, that's correct. And this shows you the total, this line right here shows you the total between the two plans of what we pay per month per employee. That would be right here as well. And this right here shows you the difference. So you would have 159 plus
So
the
is the increase in the enhancement plan, we call 500%?
Yes. That's if you leave their contribution the same. It's a little off on this enhanced plan, but 570. Here's the other idea. We can leave you the same, no increase in your cost, with what the employees are doing. I don't like this idea because already. They will go up there. That shows you how many, 7,
That's all of them.
16 employees on this plan, and one covers the cost. This would be the cost you pay here, the total cost would be here with the same as what you currently pay, but it's going to be
And come look on that side, you got power here, power here, and
water
power
down
here.
there.
Okay,
Just
now let me
stay
turn that on.
This is the first time. And there is a lot of people that I just wanted to explain this. It's going to be hard to work through this. Good.
Hello, Reverend, how you doing?
Oh, don't you start, you. Don't you start, no.
Oh, listen, we go too far back.
Don't you start.
I'm doing good. How about you? That's what counts. That is good. Can't wait till
Beating up on my backyard.
yeah, that's a good thing.
So right now,
And this, when you plug in that automatic invoice,
just take the so right now it's just picking like all the
okay, also sometimes, yeah. And then the other side. It's fix that on your phone. Not just in the audio, in the video world.
doing it all.
Well, good. I saw you got friends. Yeah, we got I didn't go last night. You were there last night? And Jamie was there last night? Oh, really? Because Jamie didn't do a good thing last night. Meeting before. No matter what, keep it local. That's all I'm worried about. That's all I'm worried about. And you don't Tory. Switch the summit that says in need of that's you're like cute. You're like cute. So much better.
Just making sure we're on because it's all right now. Let's go to outside. see where you're
That's what my uncle used to
Before you get to Benny.
at the church. I go to Indiana church.
Talking about the park, across the street, we and Renee, the bridge.
First when I was young, I thought my middle name was Carlos. Just like they told me. So,
Did you answer? Oh, yeah. That's what they called you.
see?
Pretty much done. Right outside. Real quick about me. Nobody heard it.
Told me to come meet you here. That's not his name.
The other brother, it's a man, one day, where's the school guy? Something else he just want to take out. They clean up, but they share.
That's what so
How's it going? How you doing? Chair of the board. Morning, nice to meet you.
And when they are notified, they
Hey, buddy, what's happening, man? You ready to rock and roll? Now, are y'all gonna? Are these gonna be available to see later on? Oh, okay. On your YouTube page? Yeah.
So if you want, it's there.
Very good. All right, man. to see that. Awesome.
Good deal.
So let's just start position.
A little bit more wear out.
It may not be kick it because that's a program like get it at 9 o'clock. Everything. Yeah. Have a big collector, the state's gonna collect, look at our fingers. So when I saw that, this, I didn't know how to spell it. The chief and him was all about. What's up, Craig?
Oh, you had to go through school. We had, it was an but yeah, everything was stopped. So we have to start over. Not on the box. Yeah, but then she went to all kind of she wanted to be on paper and sell
Everybody has a phone.
I didn't know about it. I found out about it the day of the meeting. Yeah, cut it back on me, I'll get one. Yeah, cut it back on me, I'll get one. Yeah. That's what I just did. I just left.
He's only in a chair or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna, we just started this. We just got some of it.
All right, 6 o'clock, the meeting will come to order. We'll have the invocation, the pledge of allegiance of Mr. Carl Chapman.
If you would, all join me in the Lord's Prayer, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, approval of the agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to add something concerning the collecting or recovery of the tickets, camera tickets, get recovered.
You want to put that out to delegation, Mike?
Wherever, that's good.
All right. Mr. Danny?
Yes, sir. I'd like to add on the agenda to switch our city inspector to Delta to the lack of service our previous inspectors gave.
You want to put that out to Mike's?
We can do it 6A after our city engineer.
Sir?
We can do it at 6A if you want after our city engineer.
All right, that'll be fine.
And we need to add this stuff.
And we needed to add also, after the city engineer's report and Mr. Danny's request to put something else, the bank bids. It would be 6B. Any other items added to the agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Motion by Mike, second by Danny. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 3, approval of the minutes of the special meeting of July 25th, 24.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Carl,
I second it.
second by Ms. Anita. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I'm gonna stay on this, I was not at the meeting, so I don't know what
Okay.
place there.
All right, item 4, delegation, 5-minute limit. Since we have a whole bunch of stuff on the agenda, we limit the delegation to 5 minutes. Anybody that wants to address the council and myself at this time?
That one's
My name is Brad. You know I live over in District 1. A couple of weeks ago, there was 2 incidents, at least to my knowledge, and Chief could correct me if I'm wrong, there was 2 hit-and-run incidences. One of them was a fatality. I believe he was walking. The other was myself. I was on a bicycle. I do about a mile loop, what's called urban mushing. I have a, fair to say as an adult, but I do have a tricycle where but I have 2 huskies that pull me around. And the person that was involved actually came at me twice. The first time I was asking them to slow down, they're coming down Tarleton, and they decided to use their vehicle as a weapon and intimidate me with it and speed up and point the car in my direction. The second incident was coincidentally when I was coming around to my house. She was coming around the corner at full speed, and at this point I was yelling at her to stop, and she again used the car as a weapon and came at me. And in trying to defend myself and keep my dog safe, braced my arm out, it ended up breaking in the process. I did receive backlash on this online because I was reaching out to find some information as to who, if anybody had any information on it. To the point to where even one of the doctors in our district didn't want to see me because of some of the backlash that was involved. Chief's group has been amazing in helping out and getting me set where I need to be. But the point of me being here today is this is a heavy pedestrian. This city has a heavy pedestrian traffic. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic, whether you admit it or not. And it's just right now the traffic is just way too dangerous for pedestrians. Legally, by law, we do have a right to ride our bicycles on the road as long as we're not clogging up the whole road. I was in the right legally to ride my bike the way I was. And again, by law, Louisiana says you have to go around by 3 feet around the person. So the purpose of me being here is to raise awareness to all the districts, as you, Mayor, see if we can start some campaign about sharing the road, particularly. And I've ridden my bike in Houston, I've ridden San Antonio, Dallas, New York, LA, Chicago, and I can honestly say I've never felt unsafe in any of those locations until I came to Marksville, which is about 5,000 people. So of all the places, this has been the #1 place where I have not felt safe to ride my bike. In talking around with people, I hear that this is a common theme, that people get hit all the time. I don't know if that's true or not. Chief, if anybody else wants to comment on that, but if it is, that's scary to figure. That's scary to think about. So I'd be more than happy to work with you guys on something, but something needs to be done with pedestrians to help pedestrians, especially the poor community, because most people there they don't have vehicles, and they are walking up. You'll go over on Preston Street where the trucks are forced to come, and they're flying through there, where you got a number of people on bikes, and the people on bikes are just zooming in and out of lanes because they're playing frogger. Now, they're in the wrong, I would say that. I do agree to that. But again, my purpose of being here is to speak to you guys about some kind of pedestrian or bicycle campaign, whether or not we post sharing the road signs. You go online and you see what people have to say about it, and it's, cars rule the road, and that's not the case.
Chief, what is the law? I mean, we got sidewalks for the pedestrians to walk on the sidewalks and keep them off the road.
We don't always have sidewalks. A lot of times we do not have sidewalks.
Most of the places have sidewalks. But they choose to walk on the road, and bicycles can ride on the road.
So the car has to yield to the bike, but there's a bike in the middle.
Bicycle has to follow the same rules as a vehicle.
It's considered a vehicle, to a degree.
So if a bike's going down the road 10 miles an hour and a car's coming 60, you gotta slow down for the bike.
Stay behind the bicycle,
And unless it's a passing area, then he can go safely go around.
That's correct, yeah.
How do you enforce it?
You gotta catch them doing it, but we can't be everywhere. I mean, And I have to say, the years that I was here, if we had, and I'm giving a large number, if we had 10 people that was willing to buy a single SLI, so it's not a common thing.
So what do we do from here?
Just have to tell the officers to watch for them. But again, you know,
Thing of it is if we're gonna start enforcing this law, it's gonna have to be correct. Because if they're riding the bike going the opposite direction, well, then they're wrong. They're supposed to be flowing with traffic on the bike, and there's certain things you're supposed to have on your bike also.
My question is, at night, if somebody's riding at night, on the bike, and it's not properly, it doesn't have the reflectors, it doesn't have the lights. Sir?
There are requirements for nighttime.
There's a sidewalk, they have to go on the sidewalk.
Correct.
and it's not just bicycles too, it goes for golf carts,
And different things of that
side by side, four-wheelers, goes for everything else.
Yeah, because they can ride on city streets, but not on state
Yeah,
highways.
but four-wheelers can't ride on the road, it's against the
They need a
law.
golf cart, but they do it.
Huh?
They need a golf cart, but they do it.
But now you can get a tag for golf.
And
You can put a light split on golf cart.
That's certain.
Certain ones, right, certain ones.
If
So
they're
that makes it
street
legal.
legal.
Right.
Has to be street legal.
But in a case like that, if somebody intentionally
yeah, that's against the law.
did it, I mean, that.
Yeah, and it's going to be undergoing the criminal investigation.
We got
That's
everybody
separate.
that he's talking about, we know who did it, he's been instructed on what to do. I mean, we found everything on his particular case.
Correct.
So it's like we don't, I mean, we know who did it. We help it.
So you just asking for us to try to make some type of awareness out there that way, hey,
I think awareness campaign, whether it's, a lot of the cities have, I know we don't have the room for it here, but if, there's a lot of grants out there, and I'd be more than happy to help, whether it's working with the city engineer or you guys. There are grants out there for this kind of thing, not necessarily for bikes, but for safety. Preston Road is not a safe road for any pedestrians, traffic along. Whether it's looking at grants to improve roads and add sidewalks. We don't have sidewalks around here. I'm
Well,
sorry,
mostly-
there's not a lot of sidewalks.
In most of the big cities, you got bike trails that they have.
Yeah, bike trails, you also have bike lanes.
But we're not as rich as some of the.
No, I realize that, and something to think about too. It's if the resources are getting slammed on here, we got to remember that Marksville is a hub to Boyles Parish, and I know this is far fetched, but it is possible. Marksville is a hub to Boyles Parish, so while they're trying to protect us, you also got Ellick coming in here, you got Hesper coming in here, you got Cottonport, you got Ventura, all the surrounding cities that come through Marksville and utilize Marksville services. So if they're bogging down our services to protect us, the citizens, then maybe in an effort to collect some of that money, maybe the city needs to start looking at annexing.
But it's like the chief said, I'm 72 years old, and I'm very seldom, and a lot of people in here can say the same, I've very seldom ever seen bikes riding in the road to where I would have went ahead and had to slam the brakes and yield to them. Most of the time, they're on the side or whatever, but, and I mean, everybody here can probably say the same. But if the problem has been taken care of, we'll go ahead and find a way to go ahead and promote, to be careful with bikes on the road.
That's all I'm asking for, is to make some kind of awareness campaign. It's,
all right.
There's a lot of the big cities have, share the road signs, and whether or not it's going on our Facebook page or whatever to spread the word. But,
all right, we've got 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Ms. Maria?
Come up with something.
Rochelle, I'm here on behalf of the Boyles Council on Aging and something else. Is Okay, on behalf of the Boyles Council on Aging, on September 5th, we're going to do our big yearly kickoff of Flamingo-a-thon / Flamingo Roundup. And we're gonna do it at the main branch here on Preston Street, and we're expecting a lot of traffic, so we're asking if y'all, I don't think we need somebody stationed there unless it gets really bad. But if there's someone, a policeman that can ride by every now and then, and just to see. It starts at 6 in the morning, right, Todd? But I don't think they're gonna have a lot of people at 6 in the morning. Maybe from 8 on, and what time are we finishing?
We're finishing up at about 1 o'clock.
Around 1, sitting down. I mean, if it gets to be that bad, we can probably just say come send somebody to sit with us, but, yeah. Okay, the next item, do we have a grant writer from the city of Marksville? A grant writer.
Not a full-time grant.
Okay, because there is a 2024 Project Safe Neighborhoods Grant that is a nationwide initiative that is to identify the most pressing violent crime problems in a community and develop comprehensive solutions to address them. And if you go to grants.gov and put Project Safe Neighborhoods Program, I believe for central Louisiana, or they call it Louisiana Middle, there's $90,172 available to apply for. Thanks, guys and girls.
Can you give that grant information to Craig?
Yeah.
So that you can, anybody else, delegation? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, pertaining to the camera tickets, we have this company that's offering, it's through the state, it's affiliated with the state, offering assistance in the collection of fees and tickets. So,
So a percentage? that they
yeah,
charge?
they charge a percentage,
But they charge it
but it's
to,
through the state.
they charge it not to us, they charge it to the person who
Right,
run. So it's a win-win.
right, and it's through the state, so it's legal.
So anything that's not collected, we just turn it over to them?
You're right. Jason, you want to add something, or the chief?
Yeah, they were at the chiefs of convention, and it's a recovery through the state commission's office. They go out to, like, all the unpaid tickets and stuff, send everything to them. They tack on their fees, they collect the money, take their fees out, so that's for us. Probably about a 90% success rate.
15% of the majority.
Something like that, on their end. Nothing that the city has done.
Sure, that's fine. Okay, and we also have, Mr. Jonathan met with our city attorney, met with the school board, and when we give a ticket by camera in the school zone, that we have to split the money with the school board office. And Mr. Jonathan talked to the school board also about
Yeah, this was basically an amendment to the statute that allows for the camera enforcement that now mandates that whenever there's a enforcement zone in a school zone, that there has to be a cooperative endeavor agreement with the school board to share the net proceeds. So I've reached out to the superintendent, and she reached out to the president of the school board, and we've proposed to do a 50-50 split. They gave a tentative approval, and they have to approve it at their next meeting, which I believe is the 20th of this month.
So we have to approve it and sign off.
That's on the net amount.
The net, correct.
Yeah, we have to sign off that we want to go into that agreement with it. And really, legally, we have to follow.
Oh, yeah, we have to.
So I need a motion for
I'll
that.
make a motion that we go ahead and get into this endeavor and accept the proposal to split 50-50 with the school board on the net amount.
Just the net amount just collected in the school zone.
In the school zone, correct.
Got a motion by Mr. Mike,
I second that.
second by
So
Ms.
just to
Gina.
approve it and to allow, to authorize the mayor to sign.
Do we have a monthly average on what we're collecting right now?
I think they were gonna start putting it on, we just started back in the school zone, since school just started. And all the other projects we had to get to the new law, so we just started back. commissioner got here, we're gonna start having on to the monthly report.
I think what you're asking, Mr. Carl, is some of the previous months that we have collected is what you're asking?
Right. Like, if the last month that we collected was May, or April, or January, or whenever, what were we averaging then?
I have to pull it up, like, I don't know if figure right off hand.
You have it on here for
The last couple of months.
I mean, I can pull it up month by month.
Well, yeah, we weren't doing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
when we were doing it, 3 to 4,000. 3 or 4,000 a month?
3 to 4,000.
Two separate things.
Every time we get one of those email, was that every?
What we collected since we started.
Yeah.
And the other
Yeah,
deal is.
since we started, it was 4,000.
Okay, so.
And
Which is a lot more than what we collected, Carl, compared to our collection in city court?
right.
How much we were basically in
And
city
it
court?
goes into the general fund.
Correct?
Monthly average, how many are
She's
issued?
got it on the.
We started on the seventh.
15,000.
6 months ago? Yes.
5 times since the seventh, and we're probably over 400.
So,
So 5 days, 5 days,
5 1 hour days, 5 1 hour days.
400 tickets.
Yeah.
I went through it this afternoon, I got 9 in 1 hour.
I mean, it was good. And that's in the school zone.
Chief, either you or Jason, in comparison for the city, the tickets that y'all have issued and the money that we were getting from city court, what did we get in that last year's time?
Not much. From city court, I can tell you, the last month we got $1,500.
Yeah.
Tickets under $1,000 per year.
What did we get, about 2,500 to 3,000?
No, we ain't make over $1,000 for the year.
Oh, maybe 600 or 700.
You know, compared to 100 given camera tickets. All right, need a motion to go ahead and pass the
You got a
update.
motion, Ms.
This is the second.
All right.
Which one?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Us to go into an agreement with the school board and to go ahead with the one that might.
The state treasurer.
Yeah, state treasurer that will cover the money that's not paid to us. So I need a I call for a motion in a second. All in,
It could be anything. But we're not understanding all this collects money, period.
okay.
Where it's owed for is in
So like for the old water bills and things of that nature, we can use it?
No.
No, it's just for the tickets. The legislature passed that specifically for the tickets.
No, no, this
Is
is.
that recovered?
No, this is in general.
We can
Yeah.
send everything over there.
What is it?
For the debt recovery?
Yeah.
We can send everything. We can send the
Water bills too?
Yeah, water bills.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Okay, so I need a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Mr. Mark Fontenot with Hub International.
Good evening. My name is Mark Fondo. I'm with Hub International. I'm going to try to take 10 years of work with the city and condense it into 5 minutes, and it's all about insurance. So I know that's everybody's favorite topic to talk about. It is very important, but we've got a lot of numbers, and I wanted to give you some context on what we've done and the work we've done with the city. Ultimately, I'm here to present the increase in the health insurance and the options available for the city to deal with it. I started working with the city back in 2015 when the employer mandate went into effect. That's a component of the legislative action called Affordable Care Act that required employers with 50 or more employees to offer health insurance or face a penalty. The budget required to provide comprehensive health insurance, which would be what you think of through Blue Cross Blue Shield that has a maximum out of pocket. Anything beyond that, insurance pays, would require a whole lot more than what the city had in their disposal to put into these benefits. So we created a program that met the minimum essential coverage to protect the city from the Part A of that employer mandate penalty, which said that you would be fined a certain dollar per employee that you didn't offer coverage to. You have roughly 100 employees. The number would have been a 6-figure number annually dating back to when this mandate went into effect. So we put this solution together. It is called minimum essential coverage. This is not comprehensive. I wish it was. Fortunately, it has been in place since the beginning of that mandate, and it's protected you from Part A of the penalty. It does not protect you in totality against Part B. We can talk about that a whole nother day or later if you want to. So this plan that is offered to the employees, you are paying $116 a month towards that coverage. The employee is paying, depending on one of the two options that they have, either $60 per month or $76 per month and some change. This is the first time that the insurance carrier has issued an increase on this policy since it was put into place in 2015, which is nice. You've actually received some rebates in prior years for excess funding. The renewal that will go into effect for October 1st of 2024 is a 12.9%. You all also have these illustrations available to you. 12.9% increase, which if you were to leave the employees at the same rate that they pay today, which was the $60.92 or the $76, depending on which plan they choose, it would be a monthly increase in cost of $470 and some change, monthly in total. If you chose to push the increase to the employees, their cost would go up from $60 a month to $83 or $75 to $101. That would be placing the entire increase on the backs of the employees. And then there's another option which would allow you to remain at your same cost, and the employees would remain static at their current cost, but it would reduce the benefits that's payable out of these plans.
So Plan 6, the cost to the city would be like $570 a month.
That's correct. That's $570 between both 6 and 7. Your cost is the same regardless of whether they choose Plan 6 or Plan 7, and that is $139.23 per employee that is enrolled. And you have 24 employees enrolled in the plan.
But the city's contribution would be $570.
No, the city's contribution goes from $116.38 to $139.23. And if you apply that delta from 116 to 139 across all 24 employees, it's $570.
Correct.
Regardless of 6 or 7.
Man, I think we should go ahead and absorb that fee. I mean, we have some employees that, we just gave raises so they can try to live, and we're gonna add another bill to them.
All right, we got a motion on this.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Torrey, to go ahead and the city to go ahead and pay the additional $570 per month that it would cost.
Got it.
Any other discussion?
All employees?
It's available to all employees. Only 24 of roughly 100. Roughly 100 employees that are eligible to participate in this, some of which have chosen to go on their own to get comprehensive coverage. Others may qualify for government programs or may have coverage through a spouse or Medicare and or Medicaid. There was an interest earlier in the year. Should I speak to that, Mr. Craig? So benefits are intended. This program was put in place to protect the city against a penalty. That if they didn't do this, you would be paying 6-figure penalties dating back to 2015. It doesn't solve the problem that exists for what benefits exist fundamentally, which is to attract employees and retain employees. Employees are searching for comprehensive coverage. They need it, they want it. You're experiencing turnover in positions that are extremely important to the city's safety, and first responders, really for all of the employees. But the page behind what we just discussed are some illustrations of what a comprehensive health insurance policy would cost. And it's significantly higher than what you're paying. But we did look at that option, and I think that the consideration was born out of trying to attract and retain first responders and police and fire. And we looked at those options just on that population, and you're looking at roughly $700 a month in total premium, of which you would be required to pay at least 50%. That doesn't make it affordable, but it does provide an option for comprehensive health insurance.
And we currently have 24 employees enrolled
And the current plan, yes, sir.
at the current rate of $100 and some change per month.
Correct.
Yeah, we would probably see a drop of probably 80% of those that are participating currently. I know myself, I pay about $1,500 a month.
Yep.
So, I mean,
The cost of health insurance is gotten to a point of unsustainability.
Yeah.
My point in bringing this up is it's become a factor, I believe, from conversations that you all have had amongst yourselves, that it's hard to bring in police force. It's hard to keep them here. It's hard to keep firefighters. This is probably a reason that some of them are going to neighboring communities and not coming here. But I am dedicated. I'd love to see nothing more than the city employees, the police and the fire to have adequate comprehensive coverage that they can afford. I'm not saying 50% split of these numbers would be affordable for them, which would probably mean more budget for the city to be able to make it affordable. But I will and have thrown everything I can to accomplish that goal. Unfortunately, it's a dollars and cents.
yeah, and I mean, even at that split of 50, you know, say it's $700 monthly for these employees, the city absorbs 50% of that, that's $350 for the employee. That's still a $9,000 deductible at $350 a month.
No, not a 9,000, but 9,000 max out of pocket.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's still a substantial amount of money, you know.
Yep.
And they're having to come out, you know, $350 a month. I mean, I get it.
Yep.
All right, so I have a motion and a second for the city to go ahead and up $570 per month for the employees. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
6, city engineers report. Mr. Marks.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I've got a few things to talk about. I will try to go through the simple ones relatively quick because there is one item I want to spend a little bit of time on talking about with you guys. So I will go through my list. Some of these items are on the agenda, but I'll go ahead and run through them and get to them on the agenda. If y'all have any questions, we can address them. The first one on my list is the LLOP project. That's our parks project. What I have on the agenda for this evening is a change order number 3 in the amount of $2,820. What I am asking for there is for the council to give the mayor the authorization to sign it. What that change order entails is replacing the damaged section of the sidewalk within the Edgar Coco Park and then doing some drainage work on the Taste Park. So those are some things that kind of came up during construction that actually we've addressed already, and we just need that approval to execute that change order. Ultimately, it's no money out of the city's pocket. The contractor's price was like $20 over the available funds for construction in the grant, and I asked him to reduce it down to what we had available. So again, no money out of pocket for the city, and this will conclude that project. It will be done, all the work's complete, all the punch list items are checked off, and I think everything is working as far as I know right now.
All right, we need a motion. Go ahead. Motion. Motion by Mr. Torrey, second by Mr. Daniel. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, you want to handle number 8 also, Mark?
Yes, sir. Sure can. That is the next one on my list. Anyway, all right. So our Zeno to Sale water line job, guys, I want to show y'all a little bit about that real quick. It'll take a second. Y'all can see what did we do there. It's not necessarily what I have on the agenda, but I'll show y'all. So you see the blue line there? That's what we installed. So we went about halfway of Zeno to Sale. We stopped a little short of the curve there, installed a 3-inch water line. And the plan is whenever we get the rest of the money, the next CWEF grant, we'll continue going as far as we can. I have talked to some of the people down that road and they told me that they did see an increase in water pressure. I can tell y'all there's no doubt an increase. The question would be, is it noticeable? And one of the landowners down there told me it was noticeable. So something accomplished. What I am asking for this evening is, again, to authorize the mayor to sign a change order. It's change order number 2. It actually reduces the contract by $5,565. So, you know, in a perfect world, we probably could have went $5,000 further, but the way we did the project, we had to hurry up and do it before we lost the money. That's where we got to. That $5,000 is still sitting there. We're not turning back to the state. It's just going to sit there until we get our next grant. We're going to add that $5,000 to it. So, project's complete. Authorize the mayor to sign the change order. We're going to close it out and wait for the next round of funding to come in, and we'll keep going.
All right, need another motion for 8, item 8.
I'll make it.
Motion by Mr. Torrey,
Second.
second by Mr. Strong. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to touch base on this one, but it's not complete. But I just want to tell y'all because it's been lingering. So this is our emergency water well rehab. We've got our samples from LDH. LDH has said that there are no flagged contaminants, which means we could put this thing into service in an emergency situation. The problem is, it would probably cost in the neighborhood of $250,000 to rehab that well, put a new pump, repipe it, and do some things, put chlorine injection and all that stuff. Again, probably around $250,000. And really all it does is it's a little insurance policy that we've got for if AWC has another blowout and we lose water service. So that's what I would call insurance policy A. Insurance policy B would be a backflow preventer on AWC's water main. We've talked about that before. It's still going to be expensive. I don't expect it to be in the neighborhood of $250,000, but I'm not sure what it would cost right now. In order for us to do that, we've got to coordinate very closely with AWC. How's AWC operating their system? Where do we put it? All that good stuff. I'll tell y'all that in the first meeting with AWC, the statement was made that, well, you can't do it. And we kind of left it be at that because we were there for some other issues. Well, it came back up recently, so we set up another meeting with AWC and we said, okay, guys, just say we couldn't do it. Why? And we started getting into the details. And I'll tell y'all, I was thinking of it the other day. There's the way the water system was designed to operate, there's the way the water system is operated, and there's the way the operators think they're operating the water system. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's a lot of times whenever you're dealing with these water systems, you start talking to the guys, they tell you what they know. And sometimes it's a little different. And what I'm getting at is, you get that information, which we have. The water system operators have told us how it operates. But some of it doesn't quite make sense. So that's where we got to take it. We got to do our homework and drive that a little further to get the facts. And again, nothing against those guys. They're doing a great job. They're operating it. Why question it? But we want to make some changes here. So all that boils down to, I've got to get another meeting with AWC, ask some more questions. One thing I've done is I've reached out to their consultant who does all of their controls, and he should know some answers. I want to get him involved, get us all back around the table again to try and figure this out.
We had a meeting with AWC with the guy from the state yesterday, and Mr. Mike and Mr. Needham was in attendance, and he brought up the fact when the pipe busted in Moorville, that the town was out of water. And we brought up the conditions that the jail didn't have any water, the nursing homes didn't have any water, the school didn't have any water, and they were worried about water for flushing toilets, taking showers, and everything else. And we discussed it, and Miss Anita and Mike were present, and we discussed it, and Rondell went ahead and found out that the state had no problem with doing it. And even though you put a backflow preventer, that would prevent the casino or anybody else, because the pressure coming into the tank is not as much pressure as coming out of the tank. And by putting a backflow preventer, that would prevent the tribe and the casino and everybody going back towards Mansour. They wouldn't have any water. So that's why we were interested in keeping the well alive, to go ahead and get it going on an emergency basis, and not have to have it for drinking water, but for flushing toilets, taking showers, and we'd put it under ball advisory, and then after everything would be taken care of, the lines would be flushed, and then the pumps from Odenburg would pump the water to the water tower and replenish the water. And like you just said, the statement you made, depends who you talk to at AWC, which will encourage it or not. And I think Miss Anita and Mike saw that yesterday when we were there. There's a little bit of, I don't think that if it's AWC's afraid to lose that bit of business by us going ahead and filling up a tower on an emergency basis to where they wouldn't be charging us for the water, because we pay them $60,000 to $70,000 a month right now. When we read that master reader, my Burger King is a master meter, and when we get the reading, it comes out to $60,000 or $70,000 a month. But with that being said, if there's no water in that tank, and we use an emergency pump to go ahead and pump it up to where the town can have water, you know, we caught in a rock and a hard place. Because, and again, and Miss Anita and Mike heard, there are 17 L's in that pipe that was laid from Odenburg to Marksville. And it's not when, it's not if it's gonna happen again, it's when it's gonna happen again. Because right now, AWC is taking the steps to go ahead and reinforce all the wells and pour concrete walls and change the boats. That the engineers had dropped the ball and they hadn't put galvanized boats, and they put just regular iron boats, and the fertilizer from the fields that were fertilized rotted the boats out, and that's what happened. And you have 30 miles of pipe from Odenburg all the way to Marksville. So like I said, there's 17 elbows that you got to change, and like I said, it's not if, it's when it's going to happen again. And are we going to be stranded again of not having water for the jail, for the people that really need it in an emergency basis?
And I think that the all-inclusive solution is to rehab the well and install a backflow.
That's what I was gonna ask you. I mean, what would it hurt to do both?
It would. It's a dollars and cents deal, and that's all it is. Now, what I do want to say is on the backflow preventer, it has some additional benefits, because as we understand it right now, the water may go into your elevated tank and then go back towards Moorville. And if that's the case, that's unconventional. It would not be conventional for us to put water in our tower, store it, and then send it back to another customer of AWC. But back to what I said at the beginning, sometimes how we think it's operated is not exactly how it's operated, so we got to check that.
I got a question on the,
Yes, sir.
yeah, you mentioned that LGH didn't flag the water, but before we had hits on tetrachloroethylene. What do you mean they had none?
They resampled it and there's none.
And they found none?
Well, it didn't exceed the maximum contaminant level.
Okay.
Now, guys, remember, we're talking about water used in emergency situations.
Correct.
I get, I totally understand what you guys are saying, but once you turn that pump back on, that pump's only 100 feet deep, it's in a sand aquifer, once you turn that pump back on, your cone of depression that's pulling down isn't gonna go out a good 150, 200 feet. There is a TCE plume there, and you can start drawing that in. I realize what you're trying to say about boiling it, and I know you guys think it's just easy as boiling it, but that's considered hazardous waste. And we already know it's there, we established it's there. So once you start running that through pumps, and once you start distributing it out to people, that's a major lawsuit on your hands.
We're just going by whatever the state's telling us we can do and what we can't do.
I understand that, but the state will sue you if you're pushing.
We're just going by, whatever they're telling us permissible and what's not permissible.
They're the regulatory agency.
Yeah, but they're telling you what's there right now. They're not. You haven't done any pump tests on that well for a long time, and that's all going to change once you flip that switch on. That's just my 2 cents. Take it with a grain of salt.
Well, like you said, I mean, you got 2 or 3 different suggestions from AWC. I mean, like it and Ms. Anita heard, what went on.
And guys, I would say with what AWC is doing with the backflow preventer, all that, hopefully we never have. Had to, it would be there. Is it worth spending $250,000? That's a decision y'all have to make. Is Mr. Juneau right? He very well could be. We got with LDH, they did the pump, they ran the pump. We had to run it for, I think, we ran it for several hours before they came. Probably almost all morning or something, probably 4 hours, and they came to take a sample. I'm just going by with the information I have.
So the backflow preventer, did we establish where we would possibly put it?
Probably around the meter. Around the meter, which is around Burger King.
Where
So would
around Burger King by the meter. I think we had said, I have it right here, either directly upstream or directly downstream of the meter. That was the thought process at the time.
So, I mean, with the casino issue, would that hurt them? I mean, we don't have them in our water system yet, but would that hurt them, or do we need to wait until after that?
No, well, the casino has about 2 days of storage in there with their tank. That's what's been reported to me. I think we have, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe a day? Is that what you think? About a day and a half if everything's full.
Rondell, when that accident happened, how much water we had left in our tower? And was the casino?
We had about
the casino
half.
was at the end. They didn't have any more.
After it happened, when the brokers got the valves closed, we had about half of the 500,000 gallon tank. But the back pressure filled up the tribe, it filled up Walco. But everybody downstream, it filled up.
But
we were the only ones out of water.
But if the backflow preventer would have been there, the casino wouldn't have got the water.
Casino has pumps that feed it.
Correct.
And it'll bring it up there, but no one else would have water. Because they're back feeding off of the pressure from Marksville. When all the water went back out to the break, it filled everybody's tower. We the only ones ran out of water. Ward 3 didn't run out of water. Moorville didn't run out of water.
Correct. So, I mean, so that it would be smart for us to go ahead and put this backflow preventer.
I think so. I think it's my opinion right now that you definitely want the backflow.
So did you look up any prices on all of that yet?
No. You're not going to find a 24-inch backflow preventer price very easily. So it's going to take some digging, finding somebody that actually makes one, and figuring out what it would cost to install it. We do a little bypass pipe. It can be done. The first thing I'm trying to, let me rephrase that. Figuring the price out can be done. First, I want to figure out, can it be done? Can we physically go out there and do it and it work? Okay. And that's that next meeting or 2 with AWC. We want to do something that they understand and they believe will work too. So I guess all that said, guys, what I'm in summary, we've got some more checking in to do. Once we figure out we can do that backflow preventer, I think a total recommendation to y'all will be, hey, here's what it costs to do a backflow preventer, here's what it costs to rehab the well. What direction do y'all want to go? Both, one, the other, or what?
But Marcus, it's like you were saying, everybody has a different opinion. Renee is the engineer for AWC. So I guess it's gonna be a matter of who's sitting down and who's at the discussion and what the discussion turns out to be. Because everybody's gonna have, an opinion. It's like, attorneys and just like human, everybody's gonna have an opinion of what it needs to be. But how are you gonna find out? Do you need to get the state to come in and
No, well,
make the decision?
I'd say this. We can't have an opinion on how it operates. That'll be a matter of fact. We can have opinions on how to solve it, but I would say this. If AWC says, guys, you can't install a backflow preventer on my 24-inch line, then we can just go to every one of the city's connections on that 24-inch line and install a backflow preventer.
See, because AWC, and everybody needs to know, it was $16 million that was borrowed to construct the line from Odenburg to Marksville. And it ends in 2040s, the payment's gonna be made. But with that being said, Marksville pays 60% of that. When that water comes from Odenburg to Marksville pays 60%, Warrenville pays 30%, and Ward 3 pays 10%. That's the way it's broken down to retire that $16 million debt. So, we want to make sure that we don't get shortchanged because we're paying for most of it. Like we pay from $60,000 to $70,000 a month is what we have to collect from the customers in Marksville to pay back AWC for the water we get from them. So we don't want to get shortchanged and leave our customers out on the limb.
I think it can be done.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Okay. We'll skip this next one because I'm gonna come back to it. Our LWI project, we're hoping to start our topo surveys on it this month. And what that means is we're gonna go out there, do some surveying, pick up the structures, the bridges, the pipes, start incorporating them into it, what we call a H&H model, and start studying the thing and figuring out what we need to do and what impacts it has. So nothing major there, but hopefully we'll have boots on the ground this month. Our DOTD LA 452 drainage improvements project. So as we all know, by the graveyard, DOTD has a drainage project. Our job is to move our utilities out of their way. During the last meeting, I mentioned that the right-of-way acquisition is going to be a big holdup for DOTD, and it was asked of me to say, hey, check with DOTD and see if there's something we can do to help, whether it's y'all or our firm. And I did. I asked them, I said, is there anything Delta Engineering Group can do, or is there anything City of Marksville can do? And I was told no. It's just a process they've got to follow through. I'm pretty sure it's federal money. They have to follow a Uniform Relocation Act anytime you get right of way, any real property acquisition. So it's just a long, tedious process. They're expecting it to take 9 months to complete it. And I don't know that 9-month date has started. Okay, my job on that project is to meet with Rondell, look at what utilities we've got to remove, we've got to relocate and help him figure out how we're going to relocate. Come up with a plan, submit it to DOT for their approval, figure out who's going to do it, City of Marksville or our contractor. That'll come later. We've been having a project kind of on the back burner, John Landry Road and Hilda Lane fire hydrants. 2 of those fire hydrants were installed today. We'll install 2 more in the next upcoming weeks. I don't know exactly when. I've got to get with Buckles and Rondell and figure out when they're going to excavate them. We'll get the contract to come back.
Marcus, before you go any further with that, the ones that we're going to install, they will put them in the middle of the people's yard. Can y'all make sure, Rondell?
I've already talked to him about that, man.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we put it on the borderline instead of putting it in the middle of somebody's yard.
Yeah.
Would you talk to him about?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right, last one, and guys, I apologize, this is the one I wanted to take a little time to discuss, but this is our drainage improvement. So I had 9 locations that I was asked to look at for some drainage improvements. And back up a little bit, since our last meeting, we had hired the contractor to come out, clean the pipes, and do some inspections. It was kind of our second phase. If you look right here, let me turn on the roads, they are on. All right, this is South Washington Street right here. You see the red line? This is the store and lock storage building. The first time the guys came out, they stopped right here. This is as far as they got. After that, we hired them to come back out. They cleaned all of this and inspected it. It's all clean, it's all draining. I had them dump water in it. Everything's working fine there. I will tell y'all, these are small pipes. It's probably something we'll have to keep an eye on. I think one of the lines was 4 inch. It's this big. It won't take much to stop it up, but right now it's draining. The next place we went was over here on Ogden Street by the courthouse. I'll tell you the peak area, that's where I inspected it. I opened the lids, got in it, looked in it with my phone, the light, everything. That was pretty clean. The reason it's not draining here is there's 2 pretty small inlets, little surface inlets. And I guess with the leaves coming off of these trees and the grass, they stop them up. Claude reported to me that when that happens, if he sends his guys over there, cleans them out, it drains out pretty quick. But again, that was clean. We came in, we inspected this with the contractor. This red area was stopped up a little bit, we cleaned it, and then there was a section right here was stopped up and cleaned that. So all of that should be draining, and really nothing to do, much to do on it right now. From there, we came over here to the corner of Mark Street and Preston Street. Is that tire shop right here? And this pipe was 100% clogged up. Contractor got in there, cleaned it out. While he was there, I asked him to look and see if he'd find any catch basins in this green area, and he actually found 2 of them that were buried right here. So he cleaned the pipe out. It should be draining, but it's possible it's still holding water there. My plan would be to ask Rondell if his guys could go there and clean that, just because it's something simple. And I don't know if I even mentioned that to you, Rondell, yet. But I've got a few little items there that I think the city can do to address some of the drainage problems we found, and I'll talk about that right here in a minute. Okay. All right, guys, after we inspected it, we found out what the problems were. I came up with a scope of work and a cost. In addition to that, y'all mentioned some areas for me to look at. I looked at those. I came up with a potential solution and a cost. I will tell y'all, the costs I have here are kind of the full, I'd say the full-blown engineered solution to solve these problems, the best I can come up with. Some of them are real expensive, but the only way to figure out what we can afford is we've got to start looking at it, figuring out what it costs to do it, and figure out a scope of work that we can afford. So don't fall out your chair with some of these prices. What we'll do, we'll go through them, try to go through them pretty quick, and then I'm going to tell y'all what I recommend, and y'all tell me how y'all want to handle it. All right, the first area is South Washington Street. Here's the Catholic Church. Here's Fresh Catches parking lot, and this is Tucker Street, South Washington. There was some pipes along here. You can kind of see them in those dotted lines if you can see them. Those were stopped up. We went in, we cleaned them in the first round of cleaning, and there's a lot of roots in here. But when we were doing it, we exposed the top of this catch basin, and I'll show you what it looks like. This picture right here. So you can see that it's sunk probably about like this. It's a depression. And what I'm saying is, phase 1 to address this area, we should go in here and put a new catch basin lid on here. So number one, replace failed catch basin with new casting place, top, rim and elevation we decided later. And then remove and replace the pavement around it. So you see a little block there. Then in addition to that, to help drain this area, again, this is what I'm calling phase 1. There's a catch basin right here that we located. The city should come in here and uncover that one. So that's phase 1. That's the first thing I think we ought to do.
That's at the red light by the Union
yes,
Bank?
Yes, sir. First Guarantee Bank is down here. All right. Again, phase 1, I think that would cost the city about $6,500. Could be off one way or the other, but it's probably going to be close to that. All right, then I'm saying, okay, if we wanted to do a little more, we'd move into phase 2 in this area. And that's same background. So we're looking at the same map. Phase 2 would be to extend some drainage along here in front of these 2 white buildings that are being renovated now, because I know it holds water here, especially once this catch basin starts having problems. So we're talking about new pipe and some yard inlets along there. That would be about $15,000 to $16,000. I'm not gonna ask y'all to remember these numbers, we'll come back to it in a minute. All right, then we're going phase 3. Phase 3 would be to replace all these pipes that have roots in them, okay? We're gonna replace all that, and I'm calling this phase 3 option 1. Phase 3 option 1 would be to replace those pipes and then come back right here in front of the church. If y'all, I'm sure everybody's familiar with it, it's just a really kind of an ugly little spot right there. What I'm pitching in this option is to come back, install a curb and gutter against the road, and then install some catch basins in that ugly little swell area and go back with soil inside. What that would eliminate is the traffic coming across here, so if that's an issue, it may be. But it would kind of dress this area up, and $38,000.
Would that prevent the people from coming in and out of church, because everybody parks right there?
It would prevent them from passing right here, yeah. So, you know, you'd still be able to park here, but you'd have to go in and out on the side of it. It's just an option. It would, I think it's a little less expensive option, and it would give you a little bit of green in the area, if that means anything to y'all, to have a little bit of greenery there. Again, it would look like this if you can see it. There's the road, curb, catch basin. You'd have some grass here, and then the sidewalk in the church parking lot there. All right. To solve that same problem of replacing those pipes and fixing the drainage in there, getting rid of those pipes with roots in them, we could do the same thing, but instead of soil, we could do concrete. $63,000. So quite a bit more. So it went from $40,000 to $60,000. Okay, that was South Washington Street near the church. Now, the next area, North Washington Street, is how Google Earth has it, if that's correct. But here's right, we're back by the store and lot. If y'all remember, there was some concrete in that pipe with a sewer clean out. Now, I'm gonna show y'all a little bit better what that looks like, so we can understand what we're dealing with here. So here's the inspection. That's the little camera going in the pipe coming up to it. You can see this thing's half to 3/4 clogged, and you can see that clean out back there. Video stopped, it couldn't get past it. So a better idea of what I'm talking about. So back to here, show our plan. What I'm talking about, going in there, cutting the concrete out, ripping the pipe out, putting new pipes, new catch basin, new concrete back over it, $17,000.
Marcus, any idea how we were able to get that concrete down in there?
Concrete truck washed out in it, maybe. I've seen it before. A lot of times this is what happens. Okay. All right. The next one is Waddell Street, if I'm pronouncing that right. Bus route, as I understand it, there's water holes right here. Can't get across the road in this catch basin, holes all along here. I broke this thing down into 2 phases. First phase, I'm saying, hey, we need to install a pipe and get this water off the road. Second phase would be the repair the road. To install the pipe, new catch basin, tie into this catch basin, you'd say $20,000. To repair the road, $25,000. Guys, and I'll come back to these costs and tell y'all what I recommend.
Marcus, did you evaluate a cost on what it would be to rehab the catch basin that's there that is not performing as it should be?
Well, here's my thought on that. So, the catch basin could be lowered. We could go in there, we could cut the top of it and lower it, but you're still not gonna get this water across the road, right? So what I'm thinking, we come in, we install a catch basin on this side. That's gonna catch the water on this side of the road. We pipe it across into that catch basin. I can cut the catch basin and I can lower it. Or, what I was thinking, just to save a little money, was we could cut a window in the top of it and pour a little concrete to it would actually go into the side of the pipe, the side of the catch basin in a little window, and it would be cheaper than actually cutting the whole catch basin and lowering it. But we could do either one. I was just thinking that would work and save us maybe $2,000-3,000.
Well, I just think about, you know, that scenario sounds good, but, you know, in September, October, November, when every leaf is falling off the trees, and they go straight for that catch basin.
I'd cut a pretty good window, about 24 inches wide, I think is what I have there. Saw cut it 4 inches deep, 24 inches wide. So it'd almost be like a curb inlet going into it, which is about right. Again, we can lower it. It's really just maybe whatever would be more cost effective.
It's in front of
On the backside of Concord Bank.
Rita.
But what about the grade that
I didn't do it for this one, but I'll show you on the other one. It's the same price. And this is more conventional. I'll probably get somebody to price this a little easier. And in this case, I think this is a better option.
Okay.
But I'll show you on the next one how I came up with my estimates. Now, guys, these are my estimates. I don't build this stuff. I just look at prices, try and figure out what I think it will cost. There'll be a next phase on this. Once I tell y'all what I recommend we do, if y'all like it, then we get prices from contractors. Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what the two prices are again?
All right, so the first one, the value or what they represent?
No. I have an understanding of how they're broken down, but
$20,000 to fix the drainage, $25,000 to fix the road.
okay.
Total of, $45,000.
Yeah.
All right, guys, the next one I looked at was Anderson Preston. This one, I did not get to complete because there's a lot going on, and I'll show y'all what I mean by that. Let me show y'all these pictures here. See all these orange lines? That's all communication cables. So there's 3 communication lines coming across here, 2 running down here with the gas main down the middle of them. And this is a new area I'm looking at, but just bear with me on that.
Where are you at right there?
That's looking down Preston, looking north down Preston. Okay, I probably should have started here.
That's on the
Here's Andrus, here's Preston, here's where the drainage problem is at, on that north side of Preston. Focus in on that. All right. We originally talked about bringing that water across, getting it into this ditch. But I got a call from a landowner down here, Mr. Eugene, and he said, hey, would you mind coming and sit with me and talking about, I want to tell you some ideas I have. I said, sure. And what he pointed out to me, and once he did, I remembered Rondell telling me about this in the past when we looked at it. Once we bring the water across to this side, this is always a problem area down here too. So my thought on that is I don't want to just move this problem and still have it over here. What was pointed out to me is that, and I knew this, but I didn't know where it went. There's an old pipe in the ground right here, and there are all these utilities, all those little lines of utilities. That's that gas main and those communications. Could be fiber, could be telephone. There's an old pipe here that's collapsed, supposedly in dilapidated condition. But what it used to do is take this water, send it over here to a ditch here, and as I understand it, it went this way. So in other words, this would take that water and it was no longer a problem. It would take it over here into this ditch as opposed to bringing it where we already have problems over here. So I said, okay, I like that idea. Let's see what it costs.
But you'd have people go uphill, when you turn, take a right on Andrews, and you're going towards Harry's, that's uphill right there. You'd have to,
well, I'm going to take it
deep in the ground.
I'm going to take it down Preston.
Yeah, Piper's already there. The only thing we have from what I was, and same person, but what we gathered was it was somebody backfilled it with concrete, and also the communication on one of them drilled straight through it. So that's what damaged that drain.
So back on So back to that, we had two options. If y'all remember, we talked about the trench drain last time, and that was when I was still thinking the solution was to bring it here. Once it was pointed out that outfall was there, maybe we could get this water, out of sight, out of mind, and be done with it. I looked at that option, and again, these drawings aren't complete, so it's really hard to see. But this option 2, would be install a catch basin, come here, another catch basin, and send it north down Preston Street to that outfall ditch. Ultimately, right now, my estimate is each option costs $25,000. If you ask me what I'd spend the money on, I'd want to send it north down Preston if we can. I'm done with it. As
the
opposed,
elevation, let it go up.
I think it will. I did not verify that, but I think it
And
will.
after it gets into that bayou, where does it bayou take you to?
I thought it took us to the east.
By Riddle?
Now, guys, the big factor is these utilities. So I got some more homework to do. I got to figure out, can we install it? How deep are those utilities? We might get lucky and the gas main might be 60 years old and we call them and they may move it out our way and we don't have to worry about it. Again,
If they
I got some more
damage it,
homework
how
to
can
do.
we go about making them pay for it?
I don't
Whichever, whatever company.
That was done years and years and years ago. That ship is there.
And I think that culvert's old, I think it's a corrugated metal pipe is what I was told. You think that's right, Rondell?
That's a
Box
concrete.
covers.
Box
Maybe it'll
covers, okay.
make a cinder block.
There's some blocks, I dug it.
Yeah, he dug it. We tried to pull a tire through
Well, I
it,
believe that.
all the live bolts that's down there. That shit moved into it.
So we'd have to replace it. Guys, I got some more homework to do on that one. Again, I think the trench drain and that could be around the same price. I'll keep vetting that. But if it is, I would recommend the piping solution if it costs the same, because then we're done with it. And the other benefit is it will allow this intersection to drain faster, because now I've got another outlet. So let me do some more studying on that, but I didn't want to leave it out because I know it's been a hot topic for quite some time. Here's another one that probably everybody's gonna be familiar with. This is Blanchard Street. It was mentioned to me that it holds water. I've seen that. I came up with a quick little solution here. I've got some more homework to do on this one too, but I think this one could be in the neighborhood of, I think it was around $25,000 also. So we're relatively expensive, but my thought on all these guys is we got them, we know about what they'll cost. Maybe when we get the money, we'll come and address these issues. Let's keep going. All right, now, these are some that I don't think we need to hire a contractor unless Rondell tells me I need to look at that. But this is back on East Mark Street in Preston where I said those catch basins were covered, were buried. I think if Rondell's, says his guys can do it, he's got the time to do it, we could go there, clean those off, and probably see some pretty big improvement right there. We just made a little drawing to capture everything. This is Mark Street. Mr. Carl, you had mentioned this to me when I first went and looked at it. I thought the catch basin was the problem, then I later understood it's the water can't get to that catch basin. The only thing I really think we can do is shave this shoulder down a little bit there. Again, I do believe that's something the city could do.
They
Unless
started
y'all
doing
want
it
me to
this week.
contract
Yeah, we done it yesterday.
Yeah, okay. This is Ogden Street. There's really not a lot to do. Remember I said we cleaned this one right here on North Monroe Street. This catch basin was buried. We got it uncovered. I know the city uncovered it, and it's probably solved. I mean, we might do a little grading along the edge of the road, but I bet for the most part, it's probably solved. It's going to help the basin's buried. All right, this one came up after our last meeting, I believe. But this is South Preston Street. There's a drainage ditch right here. You guys might help me out where this is at. I mean, I know where it's at, but I don't know how to explain it to you.
Around the 300 block of Preston.
There's some sinkholes right here. If you pass, you'll see some cones. I was instructed to get a contractor. Let's go figure out what's going on. We thought there was a failure along here because that's where the sinkholes were at.
From what it looked
By
like.
the old Shell Station?
Run by Mr. Leroy.
Yeah, by Mr. Leroy.
Mr. Leroy?
Yes.
Mr. Leroy's old station. Chelsea.
Okay, so I got a contractor, got him out there. It was actually James Reed with Buffalo, the same guy who did our parking job. He went out there, he sent a guy in the pipe, learned a little bit, then he came up with the idea, he said, hey, I've got a water tank, why don't I bring it, we'll dump some water in the sinkhole and see where it comes out. Here's a sinkhole, he dumped some water in it, it actually went what would be upstream and came out in what's a 12-inch pipe right here, and was running pretty heavy. You'll see in this picture, this is his guy standing in there, the water's coming, you can see how fast it's coming out. So that is within DOTD's right of way. Rondell, I think we have a meeting Thursday with DOTD.
Yes, tomorrow, I've contacted DOTD. We're gonna have a meeting tomorrow with them at 1 o'clock.
So if you pass the sinkhole, it's probably outside of the right of way, but the problems, as we can tell, is in DOTD's right of way. And I get what I would perceive to be their fault. Okay, guys, all of this, what is all of this about? I think these are all some drainage areas in the city that y'all have mentioned, pointed out, we looked at, we came up with a solution, came up with a cost. Can we afford all of that? No. I feel pretty confident in saying that. What I am recommending you guys do is allow me to take a couple of these locations, and I'll tell y'all which ones and see if y'all agree, but take those and go get with some contractors, get them to give us some pricing. Well, actually, I'll have to do a little more work to get something that a contractor can price, get the prices, and if it's either within the budget that y'all could decide on now, or I can come back later, present it to y'all, then we can go to work. But here's what I'm recommending. At a minimum, what I think we should do. I'm back to South Washington Street. I think at a minimum, we should put a new catch basin lid on that catch basin and do a little bit of concrete work around it to dress the area up, make sure the water gets into it. And I think that's around a $7,000 price tag. All right? Next thing I think y'all should do at a minimum is go in front of the storage building, yank this pipe out the ground, and put a new one to get rid of this clog. Because all this is going to do is slow the water down and allow the sediment to build up upstream, and then we've got our pipe clogged again. That one's got a $17,000 price tag. Why it's so expensive? As I understand it, there's some utilities in here, and it's all concrete. So we're going to cut the concrete out, put it back, $17,000. All right, and then my last recommendation, as of right now, would be O'Neill Street. I think we should get a price from a contractor to fix this drainage. All it's doing is causing your road to fail and keep failing. So let's get that water off the road, then we can assess it later and decide if we replace these panels or when we replace them. So all that, those three areas I just mentioned, totals about $42,000.
And if you put in the interest,
Yeah.
Another 25. That's what I think right now. So we can do that. I just wasn't 100% confident on my numbers yet.
that's the worst areas that we have.
Okay.
I mean, Andrus has been giving us problems for years.
Okay.
And I hate to overstep Andrus and not take care of it.
And guys, and here's why I'm mentioning this. I don't want to go and get some pricing from some contractors because it does cost them time and effort and money to price it. I don't want to go and get prices for $75,000 worth of work and we got $10,000 to do the work. What I would recommend is I get with Craig. If he has that $40,000, $50,000, $65,000 in his budget or around about, then we say, okay, let's go get a price for these four areas. Washington Street on the catch basin, North Washington Street by the storage building, Waddell Street, and Anderson Preston. Get some prices on that. If Craig tells me he's got $20,000, I don't need to go get $75,000 worth of prices. Y'all agree with that approach?
Do any of that type of work?
No, not on the animals, not with all that utility. I told them.
What about the other places?
We can do the church.
So y'all can do the church. What about on Waddell?
Waddell, I'll have to look at Waddell.
I mean, if we can cut down costs by having the city employees do it, that'd be great.
I have to look at Waddell. We can do the church. We
the new equipment we have, can't we possibly install some of that pipe, a lot of that pipe that needs to be installed? With all the equipment, the new equipment we have?
I think the biggest thing is the utilities, that you gotta
Correct.
the wires and fiber optic, that's one of the biggest problems.
That way, he said, because of the,
Fiber optic wires.
So Rondell, didn't y'all do the, Waddell Street initially?
Yes, we did that, and the reason it's that high, it had a high pressure gas and a water line that they couldn't move. So when they ordered the culverts, the catch basins, it was 2 inches too high, because they couldn't lower that high pressure gas main.
okay, what we looking like on budget?
Give amnesia now.
No, not getting amnesia, I'm just, you're talking about $65,000-$70,000?
I think that's.
But you gotta give me some hard numbers, I can't go.
Well, if collected 100,000 in fine money, it seems like we, you know,
Well, then if you collected that much in fine money, then hey, 60,000 sounds good to me.
And I can get with Rondell, whatever ones him and his
The
crew
ones we
can do,
can do.
I'll take those
I
out.
know definitely, I feel comfortable doing Waddell.
And the church?
We can do it, but I'll let y'all know, if we do it, we cut any fiber around there, that's AT&T right away. That's passing straight down in the front of the church. It comes out, Mr. Driscoll in his office, across the road, runs all on that side. If we cut something, I'd rather see a contractor do that job, just because we cut it, we'll be liable.
Now, Rondell, what I'm talking about on South Preston right now, South Washington is just replacing that top and a little concrete around
The
it.
top, we can handle that. We ordered already some, material.
And guys, my thought on that is we spent the money to clean those pipes that are draining.
Need to keep them going.
We could go and replace them, but they're draining now, we can probably buy a few months. If we start seeing them clogging up, that might be the time to come in and replace them. That allows you to collect some more funds. We can knock some of these out, buy ourselves 2 or 3 months. When they start stopping up, we'll go in, we'll yank them out.
Well, let's start off with the 60,000 budget and whatever the city can do, you take that off of that.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. I'll get some hard numbers. Next, I'm not gonna promise y'all I'll have it next month, because it's gonna take me a week or 2 to get these to where I can hand them to a contractor. And I gotta give him at least 2 weeks. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as busy as they are, 2 weeks is gonna show up. I'm gonna have to call them and say, hey, I need a number, and it'll take them another week. So hopefully by next meeting, but I'd say by we're in August, October meeting, we can have something I would feel confident.
Lauren, can we look into on Preston Street, the sidewalk over there on Preston Street, that way we can fix that? Because that section between Laurel and, of course, it don't go all the way to Andrews, but from short Laurel up to where it ends, and we need to replace it since it's there. So can we look into that also?
Sure. Be a good time to do it while the contractor's doing some concrete work. And the more we can bundle these together, the better price we'll get. Again, the more we can have together, if we bundle these 3, I estimated the cost if we just did one at a time. And guys, remember, that's my estimate, it could be off. The real number will come from the contractor. So Torek, I'll get with you on where that sidewalk's at.
Okay.
It's actually right up the road. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You get to the stop sign, make a left, it's right there in that section. That's the section you stop.
About halfway before you get to Andrew.
Yeah, it's across from the junk man.
Right by your house. The sidewalk is next door.
Make it easy.
Right by your house.
Everybody that. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Guys, one that I did skip over just real quick on our water sector project, the work at the pond, we're hoping to start that work this month. Okay, that's all I have. y'all do have one more item on the agenda that I can't speak to. It's not really my item. It's item 9, resolution to approve for accept or concept of the Cypress Estate subdivision. Y'all want to talk about that now?
Yeah, while you're up there, and we have something after that.
Okay.
We should address.
Okay, so Mr. Lee Kubero couldn't be here tonight. He had drill, so he was supposed to come. I talked to him this week. He said, "Man, I can't make it. I have drill." I said, "Well, I think the council will understand that." But we talked about this at a special meeting last month, and there was a few questions came up. He's really just subdividing a lot along Borlawn Street. Here's the survey. One question came up, what size are the lots? You can see there's somewhere in the neighborhood of this tract A1 here is 1.12 acres. We've got a 2.1, so 1.7. So anywhere from 1.5 acres to 2 acres is about what we're looking at. He has coordinated with our office. We reviewed his plan for sewer service, and we've got straight on all of that. We're good. But per your ordinance, we are to approve for concept his subdivision if we're happy with it, and it meets all of our ordinances. So then that gives him some assurance that if he builds what we told him he could build, then we'll accept that infrastructure later down the road. So we're approving for concept, and we're just following your ordinance on subdivision development. Again, guys, he's really just subdividing a piece of property along Borlawn Street itself.
Is all of it in the city limits?
No, the city limits passes right down the center of this property. So actually, that tracks out of it. These are 7/8 inside of it, and these are about half in, half out. I mentioned about annexing it into the city, and y'all said it was up to him. I mentioned to him, he said, "Well, what benefits do I have?" I said, "Well, you know,
The only thing I don't like is the part that's not in the city limit, he could build anything he wants. He could put a ballroom there if he wanted to.
Well, that's any piece of property.
Well, do we have
that's
sewer?
under the confines of the city limits.
Do we have
I'd say-
sewer? But down there, do we have sewers in that area? Do we have to do anything?
As we had an agreement with him, he would do all this.
Here's what's gonna happen.
Inspect it and make sure it's done our specs.
He's going to connect to it, so our sewer main is right here. He's gonna connect to it and stub out on each side, and there's just gonna be stub outs till someone builds a house, they come in and connect to it.
Hold on, Mark. What we did with, what did the city do with Richardson Place whenever they tried to get in?
Richardson ran all that stuff.
They ran everything. After they ran it to our specs, we went and inspected and we took over.
So with him wanting to do this, are we gonna not force, but make him put
He's gonna have to run his stuff to the city.
he's gonna run it without a pump or anything? Just gonna be a gravity flow?
Yeah, it can be gravity flow on this. And Richardson is gravity flow too. It's 2 ports to Richardson.
Right.
The backside couldn't be gravity flow, but the front side is.
Okay.
And guys, I mentioned that he really just subdivided lots, because this one's a little strange. It is now technically a subdivision, but if he would have just sold one lot right here and built a house, you know, we'd just let that one connect on. But because he's doing it all together as a subdivision, that's what we're requiring. It's your process.
And what did he say about annexing that small piece? Was he against it?
He wasn't against it, but he didn't feel that it was something he was interested in doing at this time. Now, I would say if y'all wanted to make it a requirement, I think it could be. I guess unless Jonathan would tell me different, that we can't.
Well, I mean, we can't move the goalpost while he's already made his application. I mean, if he's followed all the proper procedures, I mean, we can't start changing now.
Well, but I agree. This one's a little strange because if he was outside the city limits, he'd have never contacted us. It's kind of half in and half out. So it's a little strange. I don't.
And I know if it's outside of the city limits, then did he fly with the police jury as well? I mean, he has 2 planning commissions.
Well, that's a good point. It might be a good reason to annex into the city.
I mean, I understand his point. I mean, if his intent is to sell it, what benefit would he have?
And I'm not saying he was against it. It just,
It wouldn't cost him anything, Dan, yeah.
Well, I would like to table this until he figure that out.
Marcus, was he invited to come here tonight?
He was, he had drill. I don't know if he's in the National Guard or he couldn't make
Is he
it.
in a hurry to do anything right now?
I don't think he's in a big hurry.
Let's table it until he gets here.
Okay.
I have a concern. He could build anything.
That's fine. I don't think it's the end of the world. But I'm sure at some point he'd like to move on. I think it's a reasonable way.
And one thing before you leave, Mr. Danny had wanted to go ahead and add this to the agenda about the old condemned houses, the dilapidated houses of the guy that we're having to come and inspect them. He's not coming in a timely manner. And we have people that are neighbors to some of these old abandoned houses. And before you know it, before long, the homeless people are coming into these houses. And we've asked him time and time again to come and do it in a timely manner. It's not happening. I think Miss Jenny's had one by her house, what, 3 years?
But I don't think it's inspected, no.
But had been inspected. It's an old dilapidated house. And
Or John, he's coming, but he's not submitting his reports.
right, you just, you know, and I think Mr. Danny and question if you could, if your firm could go ahead and take that over and inspect those for us.
We can do that. What I would say is if I can do something to help y'all do what the people elected y'all to do, I'll do it. I do not want to get involved with inspections of homes for building purposes, but for these dilapidated structures, inspecting them, condemning them, I don't have an issue doing that. If that helps y'all get it done sooner, we're right here local, we can get to it.
We have like 20 houses.
Marcus, is that something that's in the scope of the current contract that we have with your firm?
You don't have a contract.
We don't have a contract with your firm,
I'm
so
on an as-needed basis.
would this be an additional fee from your firm?
For whatever hours I spend on it.
So is this something that we need to put out for bid rather than just award?
No, I think that's considered a professional service. Right. It doesn't have to be bid.
And I don't know what y'all are paying for it now. I mean, I can talk with Greg about that to see if,
I would rather you give us a price.
I can do that.
I would rather you give us a price than us discuss what we're paying currently.
That's fine. Yeah, like I said, guys, it's not something that, I'm really advocating for, but if it helps y'all, I'll be happy to help out.
Well, we're getting complaints from some of the citizens in the town, and they want something done.
Mayor, let's table it.
Sir?
Let's table it till we get the price next meeting. Craig, can you put it on the agenda for the next meeting? Can you have it for us, Mark?
Yes, I will figure out, I need to see what was done, figure out what we can do, how they were charging you, and mine might be a little more, might be a little less, I don't know.
Rondell, can you get that together?
I have it right here.
John,
Yes, ma'am.
what can we do to have the current inspector complete those reports that we've been waiting on?
Are we paid?
Mayor, did you say you talked to his boss and didn't get nothing from him?
Talk to his boss today, the ones that he's done.
I mean, all you can do is call him and put pressure on it.
But to be honest, I don't think he's condemned any houses of the ones that we want to have submitted.
Very few, man.
But the question is,
He's
have we
done
paid?
very few. I come to y'all months ago and told y'all the situation. Or as in inspection of new builds, he's here, he's on time. If I called him to get one condemned, me and Miss Anita been trying one in her district for months. I contacted him Monday, July 1st. I have yet to receive a report. Past Monday, I had to call the police department to have them pass around. Now people are going to sleep in the house.
So I'm saying,
The door was open.
Sure, have you
All
paid
the
this now?
police went. They closed the door. The next morning on her way to church, she calls me again. The door is back open.
Well, then don't.
And guys, I can't claim that building's condemnable if it's not. It's all about the structural integrity and and all that good stuff.
And we understand that, but the problem we got with this
The
guy,
invoices, whatever.
you know, Rondell, make plans
Until we get the full.
do it tomorrow, he never shows up. And then he'll require an officer or something. The chief got an officer on standby to go with him. He never shows up, so that officer could be doing something else, right, chief?
Yeah. I have one in, Councilman Montgomery district. We've been fighting this how long? All the neighbors were out there. People that never called him before called him. I had to get the Board of Health involved. He wouldn't come. I sent the guy pictures of the house. He never came.
They're just not doing the job.
Thank y'all for your patience.
All right.
Thank you.
Marcus, excuse me, I have a question for you. You said there would be probably 9 months before the state would come to complete that for your Holy Ghost cemetery, is that correct?
9 months for right-of-way acquisition.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just to get the right-of-way.
Because the state was here several months ago, and, you know, we have winter and rainy season coming in, and it's so sad to see those caskets ready.
They are, I'd say, I think they're about 95% with their plans. So they're moving, but now it's the right-of-way acquisition. And it does take a long time, I know that. And DOT has their processes. So I don't think our local guys have any control over it. It's just
But it's just so sad.
As the city attorney and the severity of the flooding there, can you reach out to the state attorney and see if he can speed this up?
They already tried that. I mean.
Well, you talked to the state attorney.
No, I talked to
The state attorney is going to say you got to go through their processes. I mean, just getting a right-of-way is,
Yeah, I mean, the
simple,
people
but if
already
it's
said
going
they would
through,
sign.
but if it's going through the government process, I'm sure it's complicated unnecessarily. But the golden rule is he who has the gold makes the rule.
Okay, the next item is to get the quotes from the banks.
Yeah. Each one of y'all have the quotes. You got Red River Bank that submitted. You have First Guarantee Bank, which we're with down, and Simsport Bank. We'll start with Red River Bank. If you look on theirs, they want a charge. And they have their charges. They even charge for deposit item on non-interest bearing accounts. So you're not getting charged now, and they want to charge. That's really bad.
There's not a representative from Red River Bank here?
No. First Guarantee Bank. Yeah. First Guarantee Bank, we have been getting everything that we asked for, no service charges, free checks, free deposits. Interest rates on CDs, 5%. Deposit books, those are free. I mean, they've given us everything we've asked for. The only problem that we've had is there's been some issue about possibly moving banks. Simsport Bank came in with a proposal offering the same, pretty much everything that First Guarantee Bank has done. Simsport Bank will be doing the same thing. They have the same no charges, free checks, free deposit books, no monthly fees on statements. So that's pretty much it.
So Craig, you said pretty much the same as between Simsport and First Guarantee. Are there any differences between the two institutions?
Not that I've looked at them both, no sir.
Well, until they decide that they're not gonna open or do anything, why are we talking about switching? Or moving anything? No, I wouldn't.
Well, some of the people that approached some of the council members and myself stating that of all the employees that were let go at the bank, that some of these employees and all their families go ahead and generate sales tax revenues, that the town goes ahead and turns around and deposits in the same bank that let them go. So it's a pretty sour taste in their mouth that brings to our attentions of all these local people, and it's the second time that there's employees that have been, it's none of my business, they operate the business the way they want to do it. But when you start affecting people's bread on the table, and you're turning around and using those people's sales tax money that we get from all the local stores, and you're depositing that in the same bank that let all these people go, it's on a bad taste in the communities.
And I understand that, but they get, like you said, it's none of our business as council, how they operate their bank. And if they fire people or whatever the case may be, that's on them, that's their business. If we fire people here with the city, that's our business if we do it. Just like if the casino was to let people go, I mean, people get let go from the casino, they still go back over there and spend money and all the rest of that, are we gonna do the same thing?
The bottom line, Troy, with this right here, the bank is in trouble. They had to make their shareholders come up with $32 million to keep it afloat.
I don't agree with that at all.
Well,
We didn't make them do it.
well, make them, but I mean, going by what you said, so y'all did it, but y'all still, when you make somebody come out their pocket with that kind of money, you got a problem.
No, it's.
But I even asked you, as a representative of the bank, those people that y'all laid off here in the Walls Parish, did you take a pay cut to even help keep them? You said no. So that's like you don't care either.
So I have 3 kids and a wife myself, so I should take a pay cut.
So these people that you laid off got 3 kids and husbands and whatever.
They really do, and I understand that, but that was not my choice to make, but.
Your name again, sir, please?
Stephen Osmond, First Guaranty Bank.
Okay, so, I guess a couple of the questions I have is the money that the city currently has with First Guaranty Bank insured by the FDIC?
Yes.
If the bank crashes tomorrow, is our money protected?
Definitely,
Okay?
All of it?
definitely. We have to we either go through ICS, which is where we secure the money, or we have to have bids out there and have actual money protecting that money. So you are protected 100%.
Councilman Chapman's question, you can just give us something in writing from the bank, not your handwriting, not your print.
We provide that every month,
You
but
can
yes.
give us saying that it is insured.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at this point, I really don't see any reason for us to move around the taxpayers' money because of a business decision that was made by the financial institution that we're currently in business with, and have been for how long? How long have we been with First Guaranty Bank before that was Union Bank before?
I mean, it may have been 20 years, 15 years. I mean, it's been a long time, long relationship.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure, and listen, like I told y'all in the last meeting, I don't have any money with First Guaranty Bank. You know, so I don't have a dog in the fight as far as that goes. But I'm sure there were some people that had some mixed emotions when Union Bank sold. And we didn't move the town's money then.
So how many people are we talking about that got laid off?
In this area, there was 11.
11.
First time you had 11, but you had some that were laid off before that.
I'm just wondering.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Mr. Smith, you asked the question, if the bank crashes, is the money insured, you'll get your money?
Yeah, that's
Okay, Mr. Chapman, okay, how long will it take the city to get the money?
I mean, we've had no issues providing the money.
How long will it take to get the
I
money?
mean, I can't tell you because we've never been in this scenario before, but it's all secured, so.
Yeah, but it might take 6 months or a year.
Well, but can any one of those banks do the same thing?
Let me ask you, how many employees y'all still have at the main bank?
Exactly.
We have roughly 400
No, how many do you have in the bank here?
in the bank here at just this
Let
location.
This bank in town,
At this location, I think,
not in the branch, in this one here.
at the one on the square,
Yes, sir.
there are 8 employees that are housed at that location. 8.
8?
Yes, sir.
They're all different every week.
So
Are you planning on closing any branches?
Who asked that, I'm sorry?
Any branches, there's rumors about branches being closed?
That we have nothing on the books to close any branches.
But my concern is if the city needs money, how long will it take to get the money in the bank that goes out?
You change some of your banking hours at the branch in Hesper. You close early, you no longer
And you're not
open
getting
on
it on
Saturday.
Sunday.
Correct.
So you are making,
That was done 2 years ago. But that's not a closure.
no, it's not. No, I'm not saying you close it, but those changes were just recently made.
71 people statewide.
No, sir. But
You go to the window every week, it's a different person. You go to the window every week, it's a different person. That's why I put my money, they change everything every week.
I will say, difference on our proposal that may not be aware of what we have always offered, but just may have not been known, was we offer free checking accounts to all the city employees, city of Marksville employees. We offer financial education that we come on site to offer for complimentary service to any of the city employees. So we'll do whatever we can to provide the services needed as we have. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, you know, you say you have 8 people left in the main bank, and then you have the branch. You don't have any intentions to just leave the main bank here open?
If those are on the
When they're a
cards.
half a mile from each other?
I haven't been in any of those discussions, but I mean, I would have felt like that may have been done whenever First County Bank first came in 2019. But if that's discussions, I'm not aware of.
Okay, do we have a motion of what the council wants to do? Danny, Mr. Nita, anyone?
I make a motion to leave the city's finances at the current institution. And I'll second it.
A motion by Carl, second by Tori. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Need a show of hands, please. All in favor of staying with the institution, raise your right hand. All opposed? All right. We'll go ahead and take some steps to,
So we're going to move the money out of Marksville to move to Mansura. Well, Sinsport Bank is not in Marksville.
It stays in his parish.
Say what?
It stays in his parish.
I understand, but Sinsport Bank is not in Marksville. Sinsport Bank is on Highway 1 over here in Mansura. So why are we moving money out of Marksville?
it's voted on, George.
But no, we still got.
It's failed. So it's still,
No. It failed.
it's gotta go somewhere.
So we need another motion of where to transfer it. Either y'all want to go to Simsport or Red River. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we'll move it to Simsport Bank.
Motion by Mr. Mike,
A second.
second by Mr. Nita. Any discussion, Mr. Torrey?
I disagree with moving the money out of the city limits to go to another area. I understand that it's staying in the parish, but we talking about all the time, oh, we want to keep the money local, keep the money local, keep the money local, but now we're going to take the money away from our bank and go to another one outside the city?
First Guaranty Bank money goes to Hammond.
But we still get a cut from it. We still get something from it.
What you get?
I don't know what we get, but we get something.
Property taxes?
Exactly, we're getting something, but we get nothing from Sinsport.
All right, we need a motion, we got a motion and a second. All in favor of transfer to Simsport Bank, raise your right hands. All opposed? All right.
Thank you.
So will we have to, can we get, will there be a way for us to get direct deposit through y'all?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Will we have to upgrade our system or can we,
Yeah, we still have to upgrade our system.
so where are we at on that? Because you've been telling us for the longest time that we got the money, we're doing it. When is it gonna happen? When?
I'm working with these people to get the correct information they need. Because it's going from a server-based system into a cloud-based system that we're not even gonna have in-house.
Well, you
So
said
there's
that.
there's a lot of data that's gotta be moved, there's a lot of data that's gotta come into come into play.
So there was money that was allocated for that purpose, and that come out of your mouth at several meetings.
The service,
Okay, so did we get it?
No, not
Why?
yet. The software updates for that, for MIP have not been voted on by y'all. Not for MIP,
So if that's the case, why hadn't you brought it up yet?
because I'm not ready for it yet.
Well, but the rest of us are.
There's some data that's gotta be.
Well, get it.
Done
Get it.
over there. I can't answer some of the questions because
Some of the stuff,
computers,
not on
911's gotta be involved in it.
Just get the stuff together.
I just want to mention as well that we have a local IT guy in the main office that works with Craig Mills and Richard Bucon that I think can help us with that process as well.
I question. You said everything's, you're migrating to cloud with no local backup?
Yeah, there is a local backup.
Okay.
All right. Item 11, discuss storage of tires. Mr. Mike?
This one, man.
No, you missed 10.
It's number 10.
What is it? Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Item 10, Ms. Chrissy Wagner, please.
Hello, I'm here on behalf of Bookies Wrecker Service. I understand y'all are doing abandoned vehicle. I'm sorry. I understand y'all are doing abandoned vehicle cleanup in the city. We would like to be a part of that and help y'all out in any way we can. We do other cities. We help them whenever they need. So we are here to help y'all if y'all need.
And there's no cost to the city, right?
No, absolutely no cost to the city. It goes back to the registered owner of the vehicle when they come to pick up their vehicle.
Can you give us a quick rundown as to the process of how y'all do it?
Usually the day before the city is ready, they will give us a call and tell us, look, we have 15 vehicles that need to be picked up. This is where they're located. An officer goes out there with us. We pick up the vehicle. At that point, they've sent out certified letters and whatever they have to do. And we pick them up, bring them back to our facility. I start a process of paperwork to the state of Louisiana, notify a registered owner and lien holder if there's one, send out certified letters, go through that process. So everyone's notified where their vehicle is.
And you wait 90 days and the state gives you a title?
After
and then they
40
give you a certificate to dismantle?
Right, after 45 days, I apply for the title to the state. Depending on the state, it usually takes another 30, 45 days before they actually send us the title for the vehicle.
So at that point, it comes between the owner of the vehicle and yourself for the storage facility?
We get a title strictly in our name. We get a permit to sell.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
So once you pick it up, it's out of the city's note.
That's right.
The
No
city
cost to
not
the,
involved.
right. Yeah, it's strictly on the registered owner and if there's a lien holder on it. And like I said, everyone is notified through certified letters and everything. So we're here to help if y'all need.
How many days after you notify, how many days you have the vehicle on the premises before the record service picks it up?
60 days is what the ordinance says.
How many?
60.
60?
What is the only way that terminates that paperwork?
Do what?
What do the homeowner have to do in order to make sure that if they want to keep their vehicle, what the process do they do? What is the process? I mean, if it's a running vehicle, but they have it parked in their yard and it's, they don't have insurance or anything on it, but it still runs. What do they have to do in order to show you that it's still a good vehicle?
I think they have to come before the city council and plead their case.
Okay. You have anything to say?
No, that's it. Like I said,
Legalize it and everything. Matter of fact, it was yesterday I called you, Chief, about the one, yeah, it's actually, he put plates on the insurance, it's legal. Chief was fine with
And
that.
there was another one that
Yeah.
called me the same thing.
So who's going to count the number of days? Or will law enforcement
The
go
date
back?
is put on the sticker.
Sir?
And I have it logged down.
Oh, you have it logged down? So the days that come up after you log it, you see 45 days have expired, you called up.
60 days. So if they move the vehicle from one place to another in their yard and things of that nature, does that
as long as it's still in the same vicinity and they don't, still don't correct the problem. I mean, if they take it somewhere else where we don't know where it is, well, then that's different. No, it doesn't interrupt the
So Chief, when it's to be picked up, that specific date, do you go with the people to pick it up so there's no?
She said they have to have a registered letter?
Yeah, well, that's y'all's decision on how y'all contact them. I know other cities, they've sent us proof that they've sent registered letters, and usually a picture of the vehicle, and then we have an officer go out there with us, just so there's no issues.
We do send a registered letter when I put the sticker on the vehicle.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Christian.
You're welcome.
Okay, we need a motion to go ahead and put that into effect.
Are they currently in the rotation?
No,
This is something totally different.
no, we don't have a rotation. I mean,
Not for impounding.
I think she's just offering that service.
she's just letting us know
She's just offering the service.
Do we need to go ahead and put
I mean, we could call it.
rotation
Sure, any record would do
if they
the
want to
same
pick them up?
So we just make, how do we do that, John? Just make the motion to give them the service?
If y'all want to
For
set
their
up,
service?
if y'all want to set up a procedure where y'all do a rotation of different record services, that's up to y'all.
So we have all the record services here tonight. We got Marksville Collision, we got Tiger Track. I don't know if Mr. Mike is here, we got Keys. And so, are y'all interested in, picking up those, junk cars and stuff? You are?
So all the record services want to go ahead and participate? Because I know when y'all store, I mean, my dad and I were in the record business 60 years ago, and basically did it in town the same way that Ms. Wagner wants to do it. But if all the record services want to get involved, I mean, how many of y'all want to get involved? Clint, you want to get involved? Ricky and Ayat?
Robert?
yeah. Well, I mean, I'll make the motion to go ahead and do a rotation with it, but we need to figure out how we're gonna do the rotation. Is it gonna be by month, or is it gonna be by vehicle, or
By vehicle.
by week? Or
When the time comes up, and if Ms. Wagner's first on the list, she'll go pick it up. When the
Chief,
time
can y'all
comes up,
start a rotation book for that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to start another book on the rotation just for the seven years.
Yeah.
The state does the same thing.
okay, we need to get a motion to.
I make the motion
get
that
it
we
in effect.
allow all the record services to be on the rotation to pick up a bandit.
all the record service that's here.
That's here tonight, on the
Second.
rotation. So,
I got it.
raise your hand right quick again so Chief can see.
I got it.
You got them? Okay. They'll be on the rotation to pick up
The abandoned vehicles.
the abandoned vehicles.
All right, got a motion, second by who? Mr. Stewart? Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Item 11, discuss the storage of tires. Mr. Mike?
Okay, I'd like to, bring up, there's a problem of people storing tires in their yards. Some of them of 15, 20, 30 tires in their yard. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that if you do not have an occupational license showing that you are a tire dealer or you sell tires and have an occupational license with the city, you cannot store more than, say, 4 or 5 tires in your yard. Because it can get to be a problem and a health
I
hazard.
think we've already had nuisance ordinances on the books that would cover the definition of tires like that.
Can't we go ahead and add that to reinforce it, to make sure that it doesn't fall between the
Now, Mike, you
cracks?
say 4.
It doesn't say anything about if you have an occupational license.
Right, but you have 4 tires,
It
I
says
have 3
across the
vehicles.
board, if you have litter or something that's unsightly or a nuisance in your yard, whether it be a tire or whether it be a junk car or whatever.
I
it's
think
considered
what Mike's talking about is people that are doing tire business in their backyard without a license.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
but,
That's why you gotta do that.
And that's different than a nuisance.
well,
It's
that's
good.
already in place too with the licensing. I mean, if they don't have a license to sell, well, then we need to go over there and shut them down.
Call the DEQ. The baby don't go over there quick.
I mean, that's already in place.
The DEQ,
What are you gonna do, Mike?
DEQ don't do anything.
Me and Mike went down, a lady told us DEQ had just left.
Okay, but, so.
Well, and also at the local
We
level.
have to find it, or we have to send them to go make a couple of things? Or go,
Oh, yeah, we'll give them a citation.
For, on the city, Chief, we still have the city tickets? We still have the city citations?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Give
we
a
have one.
citation and it goes to court, but what happens in court?
But it doesn't matter what happens in court, we're enforcing the ordinance.
That's it.
Exactly. Once it gets
Once
to
the
court,
ticket
they
is
just
issued-
Like you say, we gotta start somewhere.
Once the ticket is issued, the ticket is issued.
Now, I
It's the
understand
enforcement of the
I
ordinance.
understand what you're saying, Mayor, about the ticket, what happens, but as a council and you being the mayor, we got to start something. And just like we talked about the other situations, we got to start something. So we start there, like Mr. Torg and Chapman saying, write the citation. If we don't, then we take it to the next level. We already got the orders. Jonathan said the orders
But
there. So we
it doesn't
utilize what we
specify.
have. Huh?
It doesn't specify.
Right, we can add to the
So
orders
you
right now.
want, so you want to redo that ordinance?
It's at your discretion.
We can add to the ordinance or whatever.
Which ordinance you talking about?
The,
I mean, if somebody's selling tires without an occupational license, that's a violation then. If somebody's,
This is storing tires.
if they're just storing tires, then that could be considered a nuisance and could be litter. Either way, it's a violation that they can get a ticket for.
If y'all want to leave it like that and go by that ordinance, that's fine.
It's just a matter of pushing enforcement.
No, I mean, if you want to try to see if we could enforce a fine on it,
Fines are already in place.
or enhance the fine, should I say?
All right, well, we'll go ahead and leave it like it is, and y'all go ahead and start writing citations on it. All right, 11, Clint Dingerpool, Tort.
Yeah, Mr. Clint asked me to put him on the agenda. He wanted to speak to the council.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thank y'all for having me. My name's Clint Deggerpunt. I own Pop's Towing in Marksville. I bought it 10 years ago. The first 7 years of my business, I owned and operated right here off of Highway 1 by Pizza Hut. I had to move my business to expand my services offered. I needed more room, and due to the lack of commercial real estate affordability, I had to move apparently on the edge of city limits, and when I did, stirred up a whole mess, and I'm just trying to ask the council if y'all would consider annexing me back into the city. This is my second time appearing before the council, but I know there's a bunch of new members here. I just want to see if I could get y'all to vote on it. I've been in touch with Jonathan. He knows all the statistics behind it, and I'm just trying to see if I can get y'all to vote on annexing me back into the city, as I've already done a lot of the legal stuff I was supposed to do up to this point.
Yeah, that's correct. After you contacted me, prior to me representing the city, a lot of the legwork was done. It was years ago, but it wasn't complete.
The legwork and what?
Well, you have to get information. There has to be a survey of exactly what piece of property has been proposed to come into the city. You have to get certificates from the registrar of voters. You have to get certificates from the assessor concerning the value of the property, because there's a lot of rules and regulations on how that's done. The police jury even has to approve it because it goes along a parish road. There's a lot of hoops that have to be jumped.
And people that have, well, I think there's a lady that wanted to go ahead and do a subdivision that she wanted us to annex. But once you annex, if the people that are in that area that wants to be annexed, if they decide they want sewage, or they decide whatever they want that the other city citizens are being offered, then we have to offer that off to them.
How big of an area are you asking to be?
It's 4 acres. Yeah, it's 4 acres, and I'm literally 152 feet, I think, from the city. There's no residence between the city limits and my property.
No, but if
And
you
nobody
annex,
lives.
if you annex that road, all the people that are on the left-hand side, they already have all their water. But then if they have a water problem from there on out, once you annex, you have to go ahead and take care of that. And if they go ahead and have any sewage problems, what you're doing, and like I said, I don't have anything against you, Clint, I know you're real good. but it's what you're gonna have to get the city to go ahead and get obligated to when you annex that road. You can't pick and choose, and then you got, I think Mr. Kelly DuPont's there, and he's not in there, so you'd have to offer him sewage. And then down the road, you have Mr. Lemoyne that lives further down, a little bit further than you, and he comes and says, well, you annex this, why you can't annex me? You know, it's like a domino effect of where does it stop? And the legal things that the city would have to abide by, if those people that live down that lane down to California, if they come and approach us and say, hey, we want sewage, y'all have annexed this property, and we want sewage. It's just like the lady they wanted to do the subdivision. I mean, if it's all cost effective.
Let's start off with you going and get all of that other stuff first, and then we'll come back to the table and discuss all of that at a later
What
time.
stuff is it? How far is it
Jonathan was
from the
explaining
end
to you that you
of
need.
our sewer line to
You
his
still-
property?
And you would still have to get with the police jury and all the rest of that.
Right, if you tell me my next step is that y'all to vote on it, then go to the police jury.
Hold
I'm
on,
already,
hold on, we're on a different page, okay? You don't do all of that stuff until it's approved.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you're just wasting a lot of time. Because you have to, I mean, I think in the prior situation, it
the police
was,
jury voted down last time, but now they're okay to.
right, it was somewhat, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, but it was easier because I think it was 1 acre, or are you saying 4 acres? If you're talking about, 1,000 acres with 10,000 people in it, well then it gets a lot more complicated. In the prior situation, there was nobody who really resided there. I think it was just your business. So, your property value, well, that's easy. All you gotta do is look up his property assessment. As far as the registered voters, you don't live there, so there were no registered voters. It was somewhat simpler, but there was still a lot of stuff that had to be done.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it, I'm offering y'all to charge me some extra taxes, that's all that is. I mean, as far as you can't pick and choose, the line's drawn now where it is. It was picked and choose then. I mean, I'm just asking to extend it 150 feet on the one side of the road. If they want to get annexed, they could go through all the legal hoops that I've been through.
But Clint, we're doing this just to go ahead and allow you a record rotation.
But I had the record rotation for 7 years, and I moved. There was not a 4 acre piece of property.
We didn't force you to move on the city.
Nobody did, but I mean, businesses grow. It's growing pains.
It's like Bobby and them. Bobby and them aren't annexed, but they're outside the city limits. So you're not allowed to do rotation, correct?
correct.
So you're asking the town, and like I said, you and I are friends, but I'm going by what I have to do as the mayor and the council has to do. We opening ourselves up to where if those people down the lane, when we annex it, there's no sewage, right, Rondell?
There's no sewage down.
If they want sewage and we're annexed, that property's annexed, we gotta
They
provide
have to
sewage.
supply sewage if you.
But y'all told me last time that I have to pay for sewage. I have to pay to hook to your sewage. That's what y'all
Yeah, but
told me
wait,
last time.
Clint, what you don't understand, we have to go from the Hesma Highway all the way to your property.
So what about the houses that are in the city limits down the road already?
There's no sewage down there.
So they don't have sewage?
They're running to the.
They're not,
They hooked up
two
to
houses?
Richardson's place, is annexed.
No, they're not hooked to Richardson.
No, what I'm saying,
the
Daniel.
senior village, they got permission from them to hook to them.
I have written permission from Richardson's to hook to them. I did all that.
It's not you. It's if we annex that road, all the people along that road on the left-hand side.
I understand your point, but I'm not asking you to annex it all the way to the federal refuge.
But you can't jump with where you're gonna annex this, you can't.
So are you saying Marksville's never gonna grow, never gonna accept new businesses that move on the edge of city limits?
If you annex it, we're going ahead and we have to provide those services to everybody that's down there.
What specific area are you asking for?
The left side of Little California
All
from
of
the
it?
city limits.
Because I could have sworn there was a survey. Was there a survey done?
Yeah, there's a survey.
And was it just your property or was it?
Just my property. It's nothing else. I'm not subdividing or anything. It's just one piece of commercial property. I just need, from what Jonathan told me, I just need to get y'all to vote on it.
Well, that starts the process.
Yeah, that's the next step. So can I?
So I got a question for you. I mean, would you be willing to assist with paying for some of the pipe being ran?
Definitely. I already said I would pay for the sewage. If y'all
So
get your
you would
engineer
pay
to
for
show
it?
me what I gotta do, tell me what I gotta do.
Go ahead.
Typically, if a subdivision wants to build, we require them to run their utility stuff.
Correct. So,
How does it, this annexation maybe a little different, but, we have to look into it, but I mean, if you wanna build a subdivision, you gotta run utility stuff.
so he would have to run a main?
I'm not
or
saying
would we
that.
have to extend the main? Will we have to extend, or that's what I'm asking? Will
What
we
I'm
have to
not,
extend?
what I'm not familiar with is what y'all were saying is if you're in city limits, you have to be on city sewer.
That's not true, because I'm not on city sewer.
I don't know if that's right or not. I can't speak to that. But I mean, we can figure that out. If y'all were saying it is, then it's
The
very
health
likely it is.
department will not issue anything within the city limits due to a business that put pond, oxidation pond in the middle of town.
Well,
The council and mayor know what I'm talking about. When we met at the health department, when they issued a business, they stopped it. They will not issue any permit for anyone's sewer. I even tried it with the guy that had the house, that had the motel at the end of the pole. He had been having stuff sewer, but it was going through with the tribe as well. I called, he called, we called Baton Rouge, they will not give a permit for oxidation pond, cooler system or anything in the city limits tomorrow.
They won't do that.
if you're within 300 feet of a community sewer system, you must connect to it. I do know that.
And if
His
you have exit
situation,
lane,
you already have an oxidation, you
I have a
already have a
treatment,
septic
yeah.
treatment plant.
I have a treatment system.
Again, I'm not familiar with that, but to answer to comment on the issue of who runs the line, if a line has to be run, he runs the line.
So he would have to run it from his place all the way up to,
Wherever we would decide he
but even though he runs the line, if something happens with the sewage or whatever, it's the city's obligation to go fix whatever's broken in the
Yes,
line.
and he donates it to you, so you
That's
gotta be
right.
willing to
Because you
accept
gotta take it over, and anything that breaks,
Same thing we did before.
it. He builds it to your spec, and then you take it over. That's how it would go down. Now, what y'all were deciding on, is that a deal y'all want to do?
But we're looking at the same scenario with the property that we discussed on Bardwell Street earlier today, and there was really no objection to annexing that property. In fact, it was encouraged.
I mean, I just saw y'all move the taxpayers' money outside of city limits like it was nothing. But y'all won't let me have my towing business.
Not y'all, sir, not
I'm
y'all.
sorry, y'all won't let me have my towing that I already
But
had.
hold up. We denied a lady to go ahead and get annexed, to where if we go ahead and allow you to do it, when she's gonna come up next meeting, wanna know why we didn't allow her to annex, to go ahead and build some.
I was here for that meeting, that was like $30-something thousand of sewage, and she was trying to make y'all pay for it.
But the deal of it is, we're obligated, Clint, if we go ahead and annex that lane, anything that goes down that lane that the city's responsible for, just to give you a record service rotation, and like I said, I'm friends with you, but I'm just telling you like it is.
I understand.
That's a lot of money to spend just to give you a record
All the
rotation.
property that's for sale by my office, I'm offering to run your sewer line for you, where they wanna get
Yeah,
annexed, they
but
can
once
do it, and
you
you gotta
run it,
sewage
once
line.
you run it, it's the city's obligation to go ahead and take care of
But
it.
it's ran to your specs. So it'd be the same as every line you talked about earlier. It's done to the same specs. So I feel like you're just kind of giving me a hard time over it.
No, I'm not giving you a hard time.
You're getting built to your spec sewage line for free, fix all those houses that are ran through a private system already. So
All right,
where's the loss?
what you gonna tell Mr. Lamorne and say that down the road from you, why can't y'all annex me? Why does it stop?
I'd almost guarantee you Mr. Lemoyne does not want to be annexed. I just, like I said, I came to ask y'all if y'all can vote on it. I'm not here to cause any trouble, I'm sorry.
y'all still
Somebody
own,
needs to make a motion or whatever.
y'all still own the building on the tool?
I own the vacant lot, I don't own the fenced-in building or nothing,
So why you didn't move that?
because it wasn't big enough.
Is there a way
I
that
needed
you-
somewhere to fit a 50-foot tow truck with, an 80-foot load,
What's your mailing address?
and 20 of them per the state specs, 20 vehicles.
Chief, I got a
Turn
question.
around.
How many vehicles do we tow?
Wait a minute, say it again?
Around how many vehicles do we
Storage,
tow
the
around?
state law and storage license, you have to store
Not many,
20
right?
vehicles on your location.
Location.
And I need somewhere to be able to turn around at any time to fly my tow truck, you know?
Maybe 3 of them.
I wouldn't want to be backing off of Highway 1 with a
But the
local.
big argument
And that's
is,
why I want, if you go look at my place, I have like a horseshoe driveway to turn in and out easy.
About the record list?
Yeah.
No.
You don't have it with you?
Oh, wait, yeah.
To determine the rotations and the requests.
It's in the packet. It's in the packet. It's in your
Well, on the
packet.
rotation for, July, that was 14 for July. The request, there was six requests.
6 requests? The 6 requests, so it was requested.
I've got 3, he's got 1.
Oh, that's great.
So you had 3 requests, you get most of the requests, Trent.
But I was getting my fair share of rotations when I was right here, and all I'm asking is if I'm on the
I've been
edge.
fighting this for 20 years.
Huh?
I said, I've been fighting this for 20 years. And now we're gonna go back to the same thing again.
But I'm just asking for what I already had, that's it.
Shouldn't have moved out of Marksville. Should have stayed in Marksville.
What are you here for? You just here to give me trouble?
I own a business in the city.
That's fine.
I got more than you, what
That's
you
fine.
have.
Yeah,
And I help every one of these in the city.
All right, I need a motion or whatever.
my question is how much money do we, how much revenue do we take in from one of these businesses like that? Roughly, Craig?
Sales tax?
So so that's another business.
I mean, this is property tax, your property tax.
Property tax? I got the property.
Whatever his assessment is, and whatever the village rate is, but I don't have that here.
All right, we're not gonna stay with this all night. Who wants to make a motion to deny or accept or whatever?
I'll make the motion to deny.
Ms. Wagner, I have
Number one, Mayor, reason, and I state my reason why. Number one, he came before, we denied him, and the police jury denied him. He's back again. And at this point right now, the city can afford to inherit a road that we have to fix and sewage when we have other major problems that we need to fix. So I'm making a motion to deny him at this point to annex into the city limits.
Get a second. Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand to deny. All opposed? All right.
I have a question for Ms. Wagner. You're not in the city limits of Marksville, right?
No, sir.
You're not?
We're in Esmer.
Yes, ma'am. And we did agree earlier that all of the towing companies that are here tonight were going to be incorporated into the rotation.
It was only for abandoned vehicles.
Right, okay, okay.
So yeah, they will all be on for the abandoned vehicles.
The ones that were here tonight,
Yep.
they raised their hands.
Yep.
He didn't raise his hand, that's on.
No, he raised his
Oh, he
hand.
did, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All
But
right.
that's only for, that rotation is only for abandoned.
Yep, got it.
And what's the difference? What's the difference between an abandoned vehicle and
If you get in an accident,
Accidents and things of that
And
nature.
you don't want to
Yeah.
serve the rest of the
Somebody,
road?
yeah, I know. If somebody get arrested and
It's
arrested,
just,
things of that.
sir, it's just like we have the big truck rotation. And it's, him, Bookies, and, Mr. Rogers.
but it's
They are-
still the same truck?
No, it's not. Those big trucks, Mr.
There's only certain
Gillespie
records
and
that
Saeed, they
all
can't
the
pick
big
them up.
trucks.
So the
18
bigger
wheelers.
trucks, they on the rotation. They asked for that rotation. Am I right, Mr. Punjay? They came and asked for that rotation, so they can be on record to pick up
I
the
pay
bigger trucks.
taxes in this town, and they're out of the city limits. That's a different thing. I pay taxes in the city, so we have a city rotation. So my record picks up the city and whoever else is on the city. He was in the city, he moved out of the city. He chose to move out of the city. If you want to stay in the city, you should have just stayed in the city. So that would hurt my business also too, you understand? Because now we put another record rotation on the city, so it makes us 4 or 5. And the way it was before, for 20 years, we've been complaining that only one record service gets everything and the others don't get nothing. So that's why. Because it's a lot of money. Right now, we pay like $32,000 a year for insurance on the records and stuff. You know?
All right. Item 13, discuss donating old police cars. Mr. Tork?
I spoke with Chief Demo about some of the older vehicles, a couple of meetings back to see if if there is anything that we're not using that was possibly good enough to get rid of. And I believe you said it was two.
No, there's only one real, the pickup truck.
Okay.
As far as the Crown Vic, other Explorer, I mean, there's, yeah, they have to spend money on it.
Okay. But the Crown Vic in the truck?
Yeah, that'd be about the only.
Okay.
On the truck, is it usable for the town to use it?
Yeah.
Huh? Why you wanna give it away if the town can use it?
No, I mean, I just spoke to a couple of council members that reference to if we have any old things, because there's a couple of agencies in the parish that's struggling and can't do anything, so if
Hey, how many
we're
miles
gonna,
on that truck?
if we're gonna get, go and try to get rid of it and.
We have a couple of vehicles that we can put up to sell, like that little Jeep at the sewer department. I mean, that just been sitting there with broken windows. and-
Yeah, but they can't use that.
No, I think we can sell it.
Who's asking for it?
Well, Cotton Board was asking, yeah, Cotton Board was asking to see if we had anything that we could assist them with, and if we do, I would like to.
Is the Crown Vic usable that they could use?
Yeah, they fix air conditioning.
I don't have a problem with it. I would like to make a motion to go ahead and donate that vehicle.
We have to declare it as surplus and no longer usable for a public purpose first,
For us.
for us.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have to do a cooperative endeavor agreement with Cotton Board in order to do it properly, because you don't want, can't give away public property, even if it's to another political subdivision. So it's gotta be.
Motion or not, or do we?
Y'all need to make a motion that it's no longer usable for public purposes and is declared as surplus.
All right, I would like to make that motion.
Okay, motion by Jordan,
Now second.
second by Mr. Newton. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Item 14, ratification of act of transfer from the city of Marksville to the Tunica Biloxi Tribe of Louisiana to State Historic Park, which was filed October 6, 2022, and recorded as COBA 767, page 436, records of the Vols Parish for the purpose of assisting the Tunica Biloxi Tribe of Louisiana Bureau of Indian Affairs and obtaining a title insurance.
Yeah, this is just something to make y'all aware. In 2022, we had an agreement with the tribe where we transferred the old Indian Park back to them. They're now in the process of trying to get it transferred in trust with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they're trying to get title insurance. And for whatever reason, they want us to just ratify what we already did 2 years ago. So that's all it is.
That contract still stands as if we don't give them water, we still assume the park?
When the contract, there were two separate contracts.
Okay.
One wasn't contingent on the other.
So if we don't give the water from them, how does that go? I remember there was something in there, some kind of clause or something.
Well, whenever we did, I mean, it was kind of a understanding that in exchange for the water contract, we were gonna give them the old park.
Right.
But one didn't depend on the other.
Okay.
Even though it kind of did.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
So that's where we're at.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Torn.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Daniel. You second it,
Sir?
Did you second it?
I did not.
Okay, I'm sorry. Danny did?
I think Mike had it first, though.
No, it don't matter.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay.
We'll look very good.
15, financial statements and bills for July 24 by Councilwoman Ms. Anita. Councilwoman Anita.
Okay, bills for July 2024. City Hall, $16,022.31. Police, $69,061.04. Fire, $21,584.61. Street, $88,725.40. Beautification, $5,702.55. Total general fund, $201,095.90.
Is there any way she can speak up, because I can't hear a thing?
You might have
You might want to sit in the front row. And I can't hardly hear you either.
Yeah, I don't think the mic's on.
Yeah, it's all.
No, they're not. Chris, me,
It was on
Testing. Testing.
Come sit up front, Rex.
There you go, Louis. Go ahead. There you go, go ahead.
Testing.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Total general fund, $201,095.91. Sewer, $103,366.80. AWC, $62,436. Water, $24,098.37. Total, $189,901.17. Grand total, $390,997.08. I make a motion that these bills be approved and be paid.
Before you do that, I do have a question. We had some work done here at the fire department, and I believe the guy got paid and the job was not completed the way it should be, and we already paid him. How do we go about not paying these people until after we get this job inspected?
That's an easy fix.
Don't pay them until it's done.
Well, correct, but then we're paying them ahead of time, so I want to make sure.
Did they ever come back and fix it?
Well, from what I understand, there's still a part, if it rains, it's gonna still leak. And I believe that the original thing that we did was we asked for him to replace all the screws.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He didn't replace all the screws, and I don't know what the bid was for.
Chris, you had been back?
Still have a leak in the living quarters. Around there, calling last week.
Is it the leak, is it the leak from what he did? Or is it the leak from something else that wasn't addressed?
Something that was
That
already
was a
there.
leak that was addressed, when we came over here to get an estimate, he was shown the area. He looked at it, so he knew the area that was leaking, and it wasn't.
And it's still leaking?
Correct. No, what I seen, and I spoke to this guy, what I seen, I came in the fire department, it showed the way it was leaking. It's one of these vents, the housing, it came down. He caulked around it, but he didn't put on there to come inside the building and get an act. We asked him, he said he would come back, he didn't come back. Can't make him come back.
Did he do what he bid to do?
When he bid it on everything, he did, it was on that day.
So this was something else?
Is it
This is something else. It was leaking before he came, it's still leaking now. And
But
it
that's-
wasn't because of the tin, it's because the vent fell off of the vent from the top. The holes that came down, they showed it to me in that.
So who would have to do the vent? And that's not part of what he bid on?
No.
So you can't.
All he did it on was the screw. The screws, and he caulked around at the top, but it's not from the top. The water, when the rain whips, it comes in from the top on the vent, and it's leaking down.
So, next question, and I spoke with you on it, as far as the screws, you explained it to me. Can you explain that to the council?
The lap screws was not changed. He said that it shouldn't have been lap screws there. I called a few people. They said whenever you put a lap screw in, it's around a vent or something to hold it down. A lap screw and a flat screw is two different screws. A lap screw is long. He said they do not change lap screws. Lap screws is not in his price. I went back and looked, all the screws that he had in there were the same thing.
So we need to go ahead and get someone else to come in.
Yes.
So he got paid for what he done.
Yes, he did get paid for what he did.
Okay. So I'll second that motion to pay these bills.
Moved by Mr. Neal, second by Torrey. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, Parker reports, Craig.
Sales tax collected for July 2024, $333,466.22. Of that, 1% is $166,733.11. Half percent is $83,366.56. And the public safety is $83,366.56. An increase of 2.48% from June of '24, when we collected $325,390.11. And an increase of 2.26% from July of 2023, when we collected $326,096.29.
All right, thank you, Craig. Mr. Esther, Police Chief?
Okay, for the month of July, the police department handled 472 complaints, heard 14 accidents with 3 injuries, issued 14 citations, made 47 arrests. The city collected $15 from the city court, police jury collected $3,265.
Police jury collected on fines, how much?
$3,265.
And how much we got?
15. That was 5 drug arrests made in 7 cases turned over to the DA's.
The police jury got badges?
I don't know.
Did they give you?
They got some?
Man.
Chief, how many ordinance violations?
Let's see, I think you sent me, what, about 10?
Who sent you those?
You did.
So, I'm glad you mentioned that. Because since when do we put out on the street who is turning in code violations?
Well, I'll put it like this. When it first came up about the city ordinance, it was said that each council member would do their own. And it was changed that I would go ahead and do it. But each council member would call in what they wanted me to go do. But all of a sudden, you're the one that's sending all the requests.
Because apparently I'm the only one that's sending requests.
Oh, wait, let me finish. I'm not gonna go to somebody's house, let's say in Mike's district, and put a sticker that you sent me there, and these people are gonna ask me, well, who sent you over here, my councilman? I am not gonna lie for anyone. My credibility in court is very good, and I'm not starting to make it bad now. If they ask me, I'm gonna tell them who sent me.
But no,
because, whoa, hold on. Because when they decide that they want to file a lawsuit, guess who's coming with me to court? You are.
Who says I'm going?
You are, because you're going to be subpoenaed. But you sent the request to me.
So,
I'm not going to say that Danny sent it to me.
Jonathan.
I'm not going to say that Torek sent it to me.
Yeah. So this now becomes Carl's ordinance, right?
No, it's a city ordinance. Now, I tell them it's a city ordinance, but when they ask who sent me there.
The city. The city.
So why should I put it on Miss Anita?
You're not putting it on anybody.
Anita had nothing to do with it.
You're putting it on the city because it's a city ordinance. I didn't write an ordinance.
I understand. City ordinance concerns riding golf carts on the road, riding 4-wheelers on the road. If you want to enforce all city ordinance, we can start tomorrow.
Well, we should have started last week.
But then a lot of people would be getting tickets.
Well, we give them. Give them.
Okay.
Then we don't have to just rely on the electronic ticket system.
Okay.
Well, you go to court, you get $15. You give them tickets.
Well, $15 is better than no dollars, but
the city attorney right there can tell you, it ends up in court. I just can't go out there and say, well, yeah, I wouldn't put them a ticket. Where you got it from, right, John? Don't they want to know everything? And especially if it ends up in federal court. It's not a piece of cake.
So what you're trying to tell me is we need to just not enforce code.
No, that's not exactly what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that at all. But each one of y'all have a district. Like that, if Danny sends me in a district, then they know who has it.
I think what we adopted tonight is going to take all that out of the way with the way we would do it with the people going to pick up the cars.
Well, I don't believe it's not. Because, first of all, if Miss Anita sends a message to whomever saying 123 Main Street has a immobile vehicle in the yard, the police department is going to 123 Main Street, and when they say, who sent you here? The police department is going to say, Anita Associates sent us here to enforce her ordinance.
That's wrong.
What?
That's wrong. But if the people ask who sent us, and they say, well, who sent you here, my councilman? What am I supposed to do, lie and say, oh yeah, your councilman?
No, I didn't say lie. I said.
Well, I won't do that.
No, well, I don't expect you to do that, because I'm not gonna lie either. But what I'm saying is, just like in any situation, if I get intel from someone in this room, I'm not gonna tell you that Jason Bruyette is the one that tipped me off. This is the ordinance. And we can deliver the message to them as, this is the city ordinance that you are not abiding by.
But when they ask a question, I answer.
So, in that, whomever delivers that message is putting us as the elected officials at risk of retaliation.
Why are you at risk? We write tickets every day. We sign our names to it. Are we at risk?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are, because I'm pretty sure that.
But we took that job to do that.
Right. But you know what? I was elected by the constituents of District 1 to enforce the laws that are in place, or to help do that.
You should be open to the public.
Yeah, I'm open to the public, but I'm not going to open myself purposely. I expect when we, as the elected officials, give information to you or Jason or to the police, to the fire chief, or to whomever is a department head here, that is kept in confidence.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When you called the other day, a while back, filed a complaint on your neighbor, you don't think your name was involved in it?
Oh, she already knew.
Oh, yeah. And how?
Right.
Because it's a public record.
It is a public record, yes.
It's a public record.
Yeah, it's a public
so
record.
So what are we supposed to do? Say, no, we don't know who the complainant is.
I believe this is two completely different instances. Because I made a complaint against a resident. This is a code violation enforceable by the city.
Yeah.
So why are we being opened up if that individual is knowingly violating that ordinance?
You're going to be opened up either way. If it goes to court, you coming with him. I'm not going to sit on the stand and say, that's a junk vehicle. You're saying it's a junk vehicle. You're going to have to prove that it's a junk vehicle. You have to define what a junk vehicle is.
Right, and I'm defining that by the way the ordinance is written.
I've been to several of them that the vehicle runs, but they just didn't have a plate on it because they can't afford the insurance.
Therefore, it violates the ordinance.
That's not a junk vehicle. That's not a junk vehicle.
Immobile is mentioned in the ordinance. If it does not have a tag, it is immobile.
Believe me, there's a lot of vehicles with no insurance and are mobile, and that are rolling on the road right now.
Oh, I know they are.
Thank you.
Well, Jonathan, case in point, what
How
you,
many tickets do they write for
Yeah.
no insurance in Marksville? You have that number?
Well, I can tell you this, ticket writing is down 40% since last month. It was down 55% the month before.
I want to know what it is that you know that somebody got junk vehicles in their yard. How do you know?
Because I ride my district.
No, you're not in your district. Your district is over here.
Right.
This district is for somebody else.
Okay.
And you over there telling me I got a junk vehicle in my yard.
Okay.
And I got a neighbor just nagging the hell out of me. I work out of town. I missed $2,000 worth of money in 2 days to come to this meeting. I got a wife who had cancer twice. I'm trying to catch up with my bills to get myself right so I can tear a house down and get my vehicles right. I got 7 vehicles in my yard and 6 of them got insurance. And I got one with a collector's insurance on it. The plate is not on it. But y'all worry about the wrong thing. Y'all don't worry about the people walking from that place, walking down Andrew Street, stealing, stole my motorcycle, stole the fence I was gonna put up. Y'all don't do nothing like that. Y'all don't worry about nothing like that. I work my ass off. I right there working 10 years. But you worried about some junk vehicles in my yard.
I'm not worried about
that I had junk vehicles in my yard.
No, I'm not worried just about junk vehicles. I'm worried about your safety.
Well, then you need to come on and police the streets because I got lights over there not even working down my street. And I had to I got a motorcycle stole for Christmas for my son out my yard. They still didn't find it.
Okay.
They stole the rims off my Harley Davidson classic truck. And I had to go buy a crackhead to get my rims back, my car back.
Yes, sir.
All right, we sort of getting off.
Can I ask you a question, please? What is your name, please? Because I'd like to.
Well, you should know. You sent him to my house?
No, sir. I don't know.
Yes, you did. You sent him, because you on that paper.
Okay, but I don't have an
Well,
agenda.
then, why is this woman nagging with me, and I'm just trying to make it?
Well, I don't know
I'm just
who the
trying to
woman
make
is.
it. I'm about to catch up. This is the business part of my year. I'm working. I got 3 kids in college. They each got a car. I bought them each a car. COVID put that green car in my yard because she was going to use that to go back to school to the SAS. But I bought all my kids new cars. So I got cars sitting in my yard, 2 cars sitting in my yard. Well, don't come in with runs, and they're good condition. When it's slow.
All right, Jonathan,
Yes.
clarify the point between, I think there's a point of impasse between Carl and the chief. If the chief is sent to go ahead and put a sticker on the car to go ahead and be removed, and the person over there asks him, who sent you here, my councilman? The chief says no, and then the person says, who sent you here?
That's up to you. You're a grown man. If somebody asks you a question and you want to answer it, that's fine.
But am I in violation of anything or putting anybody in jeopardy by saying who sent?
No, a violation of an ordinance is a violation of an ordinance. I don't care if it's Anita called, if the mayor called, if Marcus called. A violation is a violation. I know the person getting the ticket isn't going to see it that way, but who reported it is of no consequence.
And if it ends up going to court, that person is subpoenaed for court too.
That we have a process. The sticker is the first part. That person has the right to go to court. They have the right to come to the council meeting and say why their vehicle that has the sticker on it is not in violation. It's due process. Who reported it is of no consequence. It doesn't matter. I know they're not going to see it that way.
But what I'm just, I guess to settle everything, if he's asked if Danny sent it, and he says, no, Danny didn't send it, well then, the person says, well, if Danny didn't send me, who sent me? And then Esther says, well, Anita sent me. Well,
yeah, I mean,
Let's move fast.
Well, just to finish off what I was saying, and I've reported 25 vehicles, okay? I've also reported over 120 streetlights that were not working. In the past months, it's been discussed at this table that, correct me if I'm wrong, that the patrolling city police officers point out streetlights that are not working and any code violations. Because the taxpayers, all of us who are taxpayers in this room, we paying for these streetlights whether they on or not, right, Mayor?
Yeah, but that's one thing too. I pay taxes too. I don't get anything free, tax-free at the stores. I pay it too. They like to say taxpayers, but police officers,
But Chief,
everybody pays taxes.
Chief, right? Don't the police officers take the tag off the pole that's not working and bring that to Craig?
We done brought this to Craig and him. The company, the lady talked to Craig at the LMA convention. He can only send 5 in at a time. Is that right?
That's correct.
yeah.
And
They have to have a ribbon on
Yeah,
them.
send 5 in at a time, want a ribbon around them, and whenever they change them, they take the ribbon down.
And they want a date, address too.
Correct.
Yeah, they want a physical address.
Man, I just have a quick question. In the last couple of meetings, we asked, council asked that officers check the churches.
They've been checking.
Well, they're not checking all of them. And I looked at some videos at a couple of them, and they're not, can we go back to that, please? That's all.
Yeah, that's no problem.
And we can enforce that they.
Assistant Chief is right, you can tell you, I tell them all the time.
And I believe, but I'm just saying, they just do it one strike night, because we've had complaints of people sleeping around the churches, and a couple of churches, I think, St. Joe was broke in, different places, we just, It's part of their patrol. That's all I'm
That's no
asking.
problem. And I want to make one thing clear to you, all of you. I'm not here to put anybody under the bus, cause trouble for anybody, but I'm not going to lie for anyone. I was told, I always said I was going to tell the truth involving courts, and that's what I'm going to do. If somebody asks me a question, I'm going to tell them the truth. And if I'm faulted for that, then so be it.
A quick question. How many we have on the ship right now?
Sometimes we have 3, and sometimes we have on 2. And on the weekend, we try to keep 3.
I was asking that way we can see if we can go back to the zones, but we're not gonna be able to do it.
To the what?
Zones. Go back to zones?
No,
We don't have enough
sometimes we
people.
only have 2, and during the day, we help cover during the day. And Jason and myself is taking care of the camera tickets and everything during the week.
Oh, well, I heard you out one night, so.
Yeah, you come out of handy, yeah.
I heard you out one night.
Mr. Chris,
We got one in the academy and we have one opening. So, but we're filling in between right now.
And I certainly want to thank you, Jason, and the other officers who are doing everything you possibly can to protect parents and students, teachers within the school zones every morning and every afternoon. Because going to and from church twice a day,
We do what we can.
I know.
I appreciate it. Thank you for that. We do what we can. I know we never get recognized for anything. You know, there's always trash that's thrown at the police department
Well, it's
and all that,
about
but, you know,
protecting the children.
we do what we can.
Those buses have children. that-
all right, Chief.
I appreciate y'all.
Mr. Chris?
Our report for the month of July, we had 19 total calls, 14 were in the city limits, 5 outside. Consisted of 1 rescue, 1 surface call, 3 alarm activations, 1 brush fire, 6 hazardous conditions, 1 auto accident, 3 structure fires, 2 medical emergencies, and 1 agency assist. We have 2 part-time firefighters who would like to transition from part-time to full-time. That would cover 2 of the 3 spots that we're looking to cover. They're already employees of the city, already on payroll. 1 firefighter, his name is Sammy Cormouche. He's a certified firefighter, works at Point Peace Fire District 1 now. And the second one is Jordan Bolt. He's not certified, but he's working on the certifications, going to classes. And we can continue working on the 3rd applicant. We haven't received any applications. These are just guys who want to transition over. If the city council would want to ratify them from part-time to full-time. The pay, the firefighter who is not certified, start him at $12.05 an hour, which is $1 less than the firefighters. The one who is certified, Sammy Cormouche, start him at $13.05, which is what the other certified firefighters are making.
And I'll make that motion. But along with it, I want the council to start thinking about something else for the fire department. And I hadn't spoken to Chris on it yet, but if we're gonna add a 4th person, that means we have to start being more proactive. So I would like to see us start thinking about running some medical calls in the city of Marksville.
We are running AED, CPR calls, and we're in the process of running auto accidents with injuries. We can't tie up too many guys and run too many medical calls because that takes away from your fire protection side, which affects your property insurance PIAL rating, which is what you don't want to affect. And there's a process that goes with running medical. You have to have a medical director, malpractice insurance. So the city would have to decide how far they want to go on that. Running AED, CPR calls.
You have the personnel to do all that?
Over 4 people.
We have been doing it. We have been doing AED and CPR. We haven't been running auto accidents with injuries, unless the PD calls. The PD calls and seems to think that we're needed, we'll go. If an Acadian unit is far out, which sometimes they come from Pineville, Bill Platt, we'll go assist the PD until the ambulance gets there. And we don't send all 3 guys. We just send 1 or 2. We always leave someone here at the station for the fire suppression and protection.
And for the shift, they got 4 guys, 2 guys.
Whereas the rec is first responders, y'all usually have.
If we're called.
Yeah.
If we're called.
So
I
the
think
only
it's
thing that
working
really
good.
be adding is the accidents within injuries. That they'll be going to those.
And that's gonna be up to the PD's, recommendation, whatever they think. It's up to their discretion if we're needed on it. Usually they'll call us on the radio or call us on the phone, and we'll send a truck out there to assist.
So I'll make that motion to go ahead and, hire those two.
Would there be any stipulations on the employment of the individual who's not yet certified?
He has his limitations. He
Like-
has his limitations, and he will be under a training officer, and he's ran several structure fires and calls already. So he's not totally green, but
But are we giving him a time in which he has to get certified?
1 year.
1 year, which is what the PD does. 1 year to get his certification. And he started, next week, he's going to take his hazardous materials certification, hazmat awareness, and he has already done his driving certification. He has taken that in Hammond.
They also need to go see the civil service personnel.
Correct. Once the council ratifies from part-time to full-time, then he can do his civil service interview, whatever needs to be done.
All right. Motion by George, second by.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carl. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Mr. Floyd?
For the month of July, we dug over 1,300 foot of ditches. We installed full covers. We're repairing our drills as needed. And we cleaned a few fires in the last month. My animal count is 10, but I didn't, while I came to work, I had somebody pick up 3. So, start the process of picking up the dogs again. Also, Tammy went to school last week, or the week before. She's telling us that we're gonna have a grant coming to Rondell whenever they come to build new cages. And it will be all paid by Animal Society or something like that. As soon as I get the paperwork, I'll turn it in.
That's new or add-on?
No, that's a new deal. A new deal.
That's a new building, totally. They don't want the metal no more.
Okay.
They want stainless steel and some.
All right, that's good there. I mean, I'm sorry, Sean. Sean?
In the month of July, we picked up a total of 100 bags of litter on the state roads. And in District 1, 29, District 2, 46, District 3, 49, District 4, 33, District 5, 52, for a total of 309 bags of litter in the whole town.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Go ahead.
All right. This past month, we've been setting up for this construction that's about to take place at the ponds. We done cut trees down. They're gonna need a lot of space for parking their equipment and a lot of dirt. I think the guy said it's somewhere around 100 loads of dirt per day that we bring it in. And the locks, I'm caught up today with locks. If y'all have any in your district with tall grass, let me know in the morning. I'll start them back off and then cutting them and adding them to their taxes. So y'all just give me a list and I'll keep it going.
I just like to ask, and you know, I've spoken to some of the council members, when they go to cut some grass, you know, instead of leaving the Johnson grass around poles and signs, 3 and 4 foot high, Sean, can you get those guys to cut that, please, if y'all don't mind? Because I get calls, and council members get calls, and I want to know why we did it halfway. And can y'all address that, please? All right, that's all you had, Rondell?
Yes, I said that.
Ms. Beverly?
She's hurting right now.
Yeah.
She's bad, though.
Yeah, she's supposed to take medicine. She's supposed to take a medicine between 8 and 8:30.
All right, Buckles?
For the month of July, for the water department, we're
responded to 198 service calls, ran 31 profiles, repaired 21 leaks, and repaired 6 meetings.
All right, thank you both. Mr. Johnson?
I don't have anything to report.
All right. I need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make it.
Motion by Mike. Second by George. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Mr. Nico.